boy. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good start to their weekend. Welcome to Late Night Giants Talk. I'm your host, Big Dash Knowles. Shout out to the 16 people already in the building. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. It'll let the algorithm know we in the building, and the algorithm will let other Giants fans know that we in the building, and they can join the family reunion. Shout out to everybody that's already in here. Quick roll call. Sydney Angel in the building says, I'm ready tonight. I already know. We got some things to talk about. Definitely got some things to talk about. Harvey Ave says, Dash, what's good? What's good, Harvey? I'm chilling. Robbie said, woohoo. That's like Homer Simpson. Woohoo. Joe Schmo, I'm sorry, 84 says, hey, New York State of Mind said, Big Dash, what's going on, New York State of Mind? Side guy Brian in the building. Don't know what to expect tomorrow. Me neither. The Jameis Winston showcase is tomorrow. The Mike Kafka showcases tomorrow. We got some things to talk about. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox in the building. How you doing? Good day to you, sir. Well, I should say good night to you, sir. How you doing? My man Mark Thompson in the building. I'm going to shoot you over that link in just a moment. Sydney says, finally I can get excited about a Giants team without Brian Daboll. We free. That's one way to put it. That's definitely one way to put it. Was it Mad Prick says, I'm feeling the boys rally around Jameis and get a win. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for that too, man. I'm definitely hoping for that. We got some things to talk about, man. JDJ, I see your comment. We're gonna talk about that too. Team Zavala? What up, SA Dash? K Rolo Holmes. Let me know if I Holmes. K Rojo. I don't know. My wife will be mad at me right now. I don't know. But my wife, she can do it a little bit. She can talk a little bit Spanish. I can't do it. My apologies. Nova Nebula in the building says, hopefully Jameis come out hungry for the crab legs. Now that's hilarious. We gotta leave them crab legs alone. Sydney says, I want to see who steps up. We got some things to talk about for sure. Shout out to the people in the building, man. Again, we gonna get this thing started, right? Again, we gonna get this thing started. I got the comments showing. Shout out to Super K. Shout out to Ed Lid. And my man Joshua says, the firing was inevitable. That's what we're gonna start this thing at right now. We're gonna start it right there. So obviously, what a difference a week makes. We talked about it a little bit after the war room with the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to my man Chris that came through for the war room to talk Green Bay Packers versus New York Giants. But we figured the last time we had a late night Giant talk, Brian Daboll was still the coach of the New York Giants. Fast forward, here we are a week from then, and now the New York Giants have Mike Kafka as the interim head coach. So first off, I'm going to ask you guys. Some of you guys already know. I'm going to ask you guys. Let me know in the comment section. Let me see what the temperature in the room is. How many of you guys are happy that Brian Daboll is gone? How many of you guys are upset that Brian Daboll is gone? How many of you guys it says it really doesn't matter if Brian Daboll is gone or not? Let me know in the comment section. Shout out to Luann in the building. Ian Campbell also in the building said, what's good, Dash, in the chat. What's good, Ian? How we doing, man? Team Zilla says a W. Luann, I already knew. I already knew. My man Mark says happy. Couch Coach Tommy says good riddance. Robbie says, I think it's a good idea to let Mike have a crack at it. I think it was clear. Once we knew that the firing was going to happen, I was actually kind of surprised that it happened as fast as it did. I'm not surprised that it happened, but surprised that, when we got the news. I thought Monday, I thought he was going to be safe. We didn't hear anything from anybody. Thought he was going to be safe again. I thought, maybe at least we get a Shane Bowen type of firing, but no. I was in the spaces. Somebody said, hey, they just got rid of Brian Daboll. And there, of course, everybody wants to know who said it. And then we saw that it was Adam Schefter. We knew that it was real. And some people had a celebration right then and there. At the time, too, I put out a video. They did not announce if Mike Kafka was going to be the interim. Obviously, everybody already knew he was going to be the interim. But how do we feel about it? Super K said, I'll be back. We'll be here. We will be here. We're not going anywhere. We got a nice show tonight, man. We're gonna talk about some things. Definitely will be here for a while. JDJ says not upset by this, but disappointed because he had Dart cooking, but ultimately the rest of the team was left behind. It's like Daboll said, I got Dart, and y'all take care of the rest. It felt like that, man. It felt like he was coaching the New York Darts. And again, we are not the New York Darts. We're the New York Giants. But yeah, Mike Kafka. Mike Kafka gets a chance. Listen, do I think that Mike Kafka has a chance of actually impressing ownership, and actually having a chance at maybe possibly being the next New York Giants head coach? I don't think so. I think they want to rid themselves of this coaching staff. I really do. But I will leave the door open because we're talking about 8 weeks, 7 games. We got 8 weeks with the bye, but 7 games. That is, if there's any time for an interview, audition, whatever you want to call it, the ball is absolutely in Mike Kafka's court, and I think the team already, I think is responding pretty well. I saw a interview with Dexter Lawrence, and he was smiling, he was joking again, and that made me think like, okay, because just last week when they asked Dexter Lawrence, he said, "Do you still believe that Brian Daboll is the guy to lead this team?" And he was like, "Yeah," but he was sad, Dexter. Here we go. 5 days later, he's at his locker. He's laughing and telling jokes. He's asking people if Mike Kafka actually has a personality and stuff like that. So for me, I'm seeing the vibes in the locker room. It's a little bit more light. And yeah, man, hopefully, the thing that doesn't change is the locker room might be happy and might be moving a little bit differently, positively, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't perform tomorrow against the Green Bay Packers. And that is not it's not a light test for Mike Kafka on his first time coaching. That's a tough team to beat. Now they're having their own issues. I wish they would have been able to beat the Eagles this past week. You figure if you can hold the Eagles to 12 points, there's no reason why you should lose that game. And you look at the Green Bay's coach, Mike LaFleur, and some people to say he's kind of on the hot seat. He's coaching for his job and stuff like that. So, I mean, why wouldn't we add to that? Let's add to that stress. Let's turn the pressure up on Mike LaFleur and give Green Bay all that they can handle tomorrow. So let me get to some of these comments before we move on. I want to see what you guys have to say about it, though. My man Joe says, we out here tied with the Jets and wins for the season. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Right now, the New York Giants are picking third in all of like the mock drafts and tankathon and stuff like that. Do I think the New York Giants end with a top 3 pick? Probably not. I can see us depending on what happens tomorrow, I might feel differently. I think we only got like 2 wins left max right now with the way that we're playing right now. Obviously, Jackson Dart's not playing. We got Jameis Winston starting. Jackson Dart is, as far as concussion protocol, he's making the right moves to try to be ready, and maybe he might be ready as soon as next week against the Lions. But we can't even think about it. Think about a week ahead right now. We got to think about the Green Bay Packers. Ed Liz says, I don't know. I think we were blocking him from taking those other head coach jobs for a reason. Well, the one thing about the NFL, you cannot block anybody from a promotion. You can block somebody from a lateral move. So when we blocked Mike Kafka from going to Seattle, it was for the OC job. So you can block that, but a team cannot block anybody from a promotion. So if Seattle wanted him as a head coach, no way the Giants can block him. You know what I mean? Just like some people say that the guy that we're going to be going against tomorrow, defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, a lot of people are tying him or connecting him to the Giants as the next possible coaching candidate for the Giants. And, if Green Bay couldn't block him if they wanted to, because, again, he'll be interviewing for a head coach job, and that will be a promotion from defensive coordinator. Couch Coach Tommy says it wasn't working. It wasn't working. The guys left have their homework. Shane and the coordinators all playing defense right now. I do believe, again, I wanted Shane going too. I still want Shane going. It's been a battle. It's been a battle on Twitter as far as the people that are still supporting Shane and people that are not supporting Shane. For me, a lot of people, they look at Jackson Dart like that was Joe Shane's pick when it wasn't. They talk about the 2024 draft, but that's right? Especially this year. What a difference a year makes for the draft. Now you're looking at Andrew Phillips and you're looking at Tyler Newman. Like maybe they're not the best pick. Still productive players, but maybe not, holding that 2024 draft in the high regard like we did last year, because these guys need to improve. So Joe Schoen, I don't think Joe Schoen is safe. He will be evaluated at the end of the season, just like everybody else, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think he's safe at all right now. Maybe some other people do. You can let me know in the comment section. My man Paul says we can't have anything nice. No Malik, no Scat, no Dart. Why are we cursed? You know what it is? A Coughlin curse, man. It's the Coughlin curse. It happened in 2016, and I thought it was over. We saw Coughlin at the facility this summer. We thought the curse was broken, but it seems like the curse is still in full effect for sure. Money Bank says Abdul Carter will have 2 sacks tomorrow. You know what's crazy? I didn't ask anybody if the vocals was right, if the visual was good. I'm assuming everything is good because I haven't seen anybody comment, so we're going to keep this show moving. But Abdul Carter will have 2 sacks tomorrow. I hope so. They keep stealing them from him. Every sack that he's had this year, has been called back due to penalty. And we saw it last week. Dexter Lawrence had a sack called back due to penalty too. So hopefully tomorrow they can get to Jordan Love. And when it comes to pressure, I think we can absolutely get pressure on Jordan Love if we play defense the right way. And I am going to stick to my notes today. So before I move to the next point, because I'm going to talk about Shane Bowen next. I do want to say congratulations to Darius Slayton. He just got engaged. So no matter how we feel about Darius Slayton, the love-hate relationship that us Giants fans have with Darius Slayton, we can send a congratulations to him for getting engaged. Now he got his fiance. So shout out and congratulations to Darius Slayton. All right, let me get that out the way. He said Dexter Lawrence 2 sacks tomorrow. Listen, man, I hope so, man. Again, Jordan Love is not known for being able to get away like Caleb Williams can. He's still athletic enough to to run for some yards, to get a first down, to scramble. But he's not like Caleb Williams. He's not like Jaden Daniels or guys like that. Jordan Love, we can absolutely get to Jordan Love as long as we're playing these guys right. To me, it's still going to be the ultimate, or the ultimate game plan is going to be stopping the run, no matter what. We got to be able to stop the run, or pass rush does not matter at all. Bo Josh says, I hope they don't try to give Kafka the job. We need a fresh start. I agree with you. I do. I absolutely agree with you. But I ask myself, and I'll ask you guys this too before I talk about Shane Bowen. What would Mike Kafka have to do in order for you guys to even consider him the head coach? We figure we got 7 games left. Like, what would this team have to look like? How many wins would we have to have in order for you guys to really give Mike Kafka a shot? Like, it's going to take a lot for me to give Mike Kafka a shot for that same reason. I want an entirely fresh start. All right, I really do. When I'm thinking about 2026, the only coaches I'm thinking about keeping is probably Carmen Brusilo. That's probably the only one I want to keep is Carmen Brusilo, just to keep that offensive line and keep that continuity, going in the right direction. That's it. Shout out to my man Born for Sports in the building. If you are not subscribed to my man Born for Sports, make sure you go ahead and do that. Fantastic New York Giants and also a New York sports content creator. My man Born says, salute, bro. Our future head coach gets a closer look at Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and his 2026 defense next season. Laugh out loud. What he's talking about, for those that don't get that, he's talking about Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Again, he is on the top of a lot of people's list as far as being connected to the Giants. He is a New Jersey native. He also was the head coach for Boston College, and we know the Giants have a connection to Boston College. So he's looking like an early front runner. Now, it all depends on if he actually wants to leave Green Bay. Now, again, the head coaching position is only 32 of those in the world. Who wants to really turn those down? And even if he feels like it's unfinished business, who knows what's going to happen with Green Bay this year? But if he feels like there's unfinished business there in Green Bay, we might not get a chance to get him. But we are going to talk about some other coaching candidates as well a little bit later in the show. So stay tuned for that too. Joe Schmo says, we want an offensive or defensive background head coach. I want a defensive-minded head coach. That's the way I'm leaning. Found a nice stat that the last defensive-minded head coach that the New York Giants hired was Bill Parcells. And that's crazy, too, because just think about the coaches that we had throughout the 90s and obviously the coaches that we had recently. All these guys were offensive-minded head coaches. It's crazy. So we haven't had a defensive-minded head coach since Bill Parcells. Some things just seem right. They just do. Shout out to my man Isaac, said we here, Dad. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for stopping by. For sure. He said Isaac Moore says Joe Shane. That's a nickname. And that's a great nickname, too. Rev in the building. What's going on, Rev? Said, what up, Big Dash? Let's go. What's going on, Rev? How we doing? Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you're having a good weekend, a start to your weekend. Shaq in the building said, you. What's going on, Shaq? Ian Campbell says, hopefully it's the sophomore slump for them. Who you talking about? Oh, you talking about Phillips and Newbin. I hope so, man. I'm very disappointed in what I'm seeing from Newbin right now. I could say that respectfully because it's coming from a good place. I really thought he'd be a lot better than what he is right now. I do believe that the way he's being played in occasions, the way he's being played affects what we're seeing. But sometimes like just think about the second Philly game. You're right there in the box with Saquon Barkley take a horrible angle, and we've seen him take horrible angles all year long. And then with Andrew Phillips, man, we knew what Andrew Phillips was. He's a physical slot corner, will help in run defense. He can also cover the flats. But once you get down the field, man, he becomes a liability. So these guys, I do believe these guys can get better. But going from where we were at the beginning of the season and how these guys are playing versus what we're seeing now, I see some people already trying to call Tyler Nubin a bust. I don't think so. I want to talk about this defense though, man. I want to get to that point. So Tony Benino says I say give Steve Spagnuolo a shot. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shout out to my man Big Moose with the 3-month membership. Thank you for the love and support as always. He says, when did Tibbs get hurt, Big Dash? I don't know. I don't know. I know he ran off the field last week. I saw him on the injury report on Wednesday. It was a question mark next to him, so they wasn't quite sure what the injury was. I believe it's something like an arm, forearm, or shoulder, something like that. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I was looking for an update on that, and then got sidetracked because when I was looking on an update for Tibbs, I was trying to figure out what was up with young Quay Koo. Not being at practice on Wednesday, then come to find out Thursday when they had the coordinators at the presser that they actually had Koo at the stadium at MetLife kicking against the wind. So I think that was a fantastic idea to get him used to the wind at MetLife. And it was a windy day, Wednesday in New Jersey, and they had him at MetLife. So he wasn't on the regular practice field. The beat writers pretty much wrote it up like he was absent from practice, but then found out the next day that they actually had him in MetLife kicking against the wind. So I thought that was pretty cool and actually a very smart thing to do. So it's funny to me. It's funny to me that some of these slight changes are happening as soon as Kafka gets the interim. Now I can't give all the credit to Kafka, but I mean, come on, what are we doing? Shout out to Joseph Wilcox with the $5 super chat. Says if it had not been for the head coach in the NFL, if they have not been a head coach in the NFL, I don't want them give Spags another shot. I'm glad you brought up this. I'm glad you brought up this comment, right? Because this is a debate I've seen a lot on Twitter this week, and I'm glad we're here because we family and we can talk about it. So everybody's included. I want to see it in the comment section because a lot of people feel the same way. They tried this, we haven't had good luck with first-time head coaches. And I will say this first. Every successful head coach that you see was a first-time head coach at some point in time in their career. Now, just because the New York Giants have been shitty picking, first-time head coaches doesn't mean that you absolutely, disregard a pool of talent because you're looking for guys with coaching experience. And you figure the guys with coaching experience that have been head coaches, if they're available, that means they had to fail at some point in time too. So everybody's dealing with failures when you're talking about a new job, except for the unknown for the guys at the first time as well. But Joe, I want to know who's on your list. I see you said give Spags another shot. Who else is that veteran head coach that you want to give a shot to? I'm curious to see what you just give me 2 names, 3 names if you have some. If not, we'll keep it at Spags. Hirsch for real. What's going on, Hirsch? The Big Moose says the Big Dash checking in a little. Oh, man, you ain't late, man. You 15 minutes. That was 15 minutes. You all right, man. Don't worry about it. We're going to be here tonight for a little bit. Robbie Garn says 5 wins maybe out of the next 7. If Mike Kafka wins 5 games, he'll have a serious shot of being the next head coach for the New York Giants. I'm just saying, with everything that's going on this season, if he pulls off 5 wins, depending on how they look, he gets a true shot. I think he gets a true shot. He's already going to get an interview anyway. That's something that's just going to have to happen anyway. Coach D says Slayton needs to go 6 for 12 per, and 6 for 12 per and a dance. That's crazy. Tyrone Hall, what's going on, Tyrone, in the building? He says Bowen is a bum and he has to make him believe different. I don't think that's possible. Now, no matter what happens, even if there was even somehow if they're able to keep Kafka, which again I don't believe that's going to happen, no way you can run it back with Shane Bowen. No way you can run it back with Shane Bowen. I'm glad you, but guess what? Shout out to you, Tyrone. You kept me on schedule. I want to talk about Shane Bowen for a bit. I do see all the comments. Shout out to everybody in the comments. If I don't get to your comments, I apologize. It's like I said, we filling, the room is filling up. The comments are coming in. If I can get to it, I will get to it. I do want to talk about Shane Bowen for a second because he said some things this week. Obviously, they asked him about Brian Daboll. He was thankful for Brian Daboll for giving him the opportunity. He said that. He also took some responsibility for Daboll not being here anymore. And he absolutely should, because it was his defense and the way that he's been playing these guys that played a big role in Brian Daboll not being here. Now, Brian Daboll had his own, did his own things, had his own faults and stuff like that, game management, stuff like that he's guilty of. But Shane Bowen played a big part, in my opinion, in the firing of Brian Daboll. And you know what, though? But Brian Daboll could have easily made a change. Instead of sticking up for Shane Bowen like he did, which is the loyal thing to do. He's a stand-up dude, but guess what? Now you're sitting at home. You're sitting at home unemployed, but at least you're still collecting a check. But, it is what it is. Luann says, so Dart is going to go through the same crap DJ did, starting over, learning a new offensive coordinator. This is crazy. Think about all the successful quarterbacks. They didn't have the same offensive coordinator their whole time. Even Eli Manning. Even Eli Manning had 3 different offensive coordinators. When you look at Justin Herbert, he's on his 3rd coach. He seems to be doing all right. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people that have to deal with changes. And it's not, and again, it's not just about Jackson Dart. Whoever we bring in, they're going to change his defense as well. But also, just think about what we've been doing. What we've been doing now has not been working. So the change is needed. And it's just something that has to happen. Because, like I said, even like saying right now, everything is familiar still because you still have Mike Kafka. A lot of the staff is the same. By chance that Mike Kafka can actually win this job, he's not going to keep that Daboll system. Next year, he's going to implement his own system. It's going to be different anyway. So, I mean, it is what it is. And if you're talking about Jackson Dart really with his learning a new offensive system, what was he doing this year? Running around after the play broke down and making plays that way. A lot of things, weren't scripted. It was thing that was not planned. So that's the least thing we have to worry about now. I understand about continuity, maybe having the same voice, but again, if you're not winning, you got to make the change. Saint Eric says, I'm just worried about Bowen actually making the defense look competent. So yeah, why? Because if it looks competent, what happens? That means that Daboll was the problem. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to believe. It's really hard for me to believe that Shane Bowen is going to look like the defense is going to look like totally different. Like maybe these guys execute a little bit better. Now he did say that they were going to change some things up, minor tweaks and stuff. They can't change the entire, scheme, but they are going to tweak some things. So I thought that was interesting to hear. Obviously, he still knows that he's on a hot seat because I think if the defense performs badly tomorrow, you might see another firing in New York. And I believe they don't want to do that at all. Hold on. Big Move says, shout out to with the $2 super chat says, so Tibbs out, Slayton out, Neil hamstring with the F. Now that's a fact. Now, well, Neal got put on IR, and I believe the whole Evan Neal experiment is completely over now. They done put him on IR. You probably won't see him at all ever again, but you might see him on another team. I believe he does get picked up somewhere else. Somebody's going to try to, you know, get the best out of Neal, but I don't know. I don't, and I don't care either. I really don't. My man Joe, $2 super chat says McCarthy or Tomlin if available. See, now I got questions, right? I think for Giants fans, we got to leave the whole Mike Tomlin thing alone. I don't. That would be something fantastic to happen if the Pittsburgh Steelers were to fire Mike Tomlin. Again, I don't believe that's going to happen. I am not for Mike McCarthy, and I've been getting a lot of heat for not being for Mike McCarthy. I'll tell you guys why, but I'm not for Mike McCarthy. Yes, he can come in here and stabilize things, but I've seen Mike McCarthy have some fantastic rosters, and he wins a lot of regular season games, but cannot get it done in the playoffs. He did it one time. He got the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. What was that? 2008, I believe. It was either the year right before us. Oh no, the year right before us was Pittsburgh won the Super Bowl. So it was the year right after us, I believe, is when Green Bay got their Super Bowl. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I know it was either right before or right after us when they got their Super Bowl. But anyway, and he had a great roster with Dallas. As much as I hate Dallas, that was a great roster that he had. Dan Quinn was there. The defense was humming. And you saw what happened with them, one and done. So that kind of bothers me when it comes to Mike McCarthy. He is a good coach. He's a solid coach. I kind of know what to expect from McCarthy, because if McCarthy got here, if he was the guy, and all of a sudden New York Giants are winning 10 games, 11 games a season, and we're just getting to the playoffs and we're one and done, I don't know if I like that. Not saying that would happen, but that's kind of what I get from Mike McCarthy. That's what I get from him. But that's just me. Mr. Yellowhat, shout out to Mr. Yellowhat with the $5 super chat, says we need to find defensive-minded head coach. I wouldn't mind keeping Kafka as OC just for continuity for Dart. That would be very, very interesting if that was to happen. Do I think that's impossible? I don't think that's impossible at all. It just depends on what that head coach wants to do. Again, a lot of people throw out the name Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. We'll have a front row seat to see what he can do on defense tomorrow against us. But, a lot of these head coaches, they already have people in mind for the most part, or either they will have people in mind. So, we'll see what happens with that. Shout out to Joe Schmo with the $4.99 super chat, says how you got a rookie quarterback from the Saints calling your defense basic, had no fear. That's a fireable offense. Get basic Bowen out of here. Well, first of all, Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is his second year, third year. I can't remember. Rattler is, I think Rattler might be his second year. He's not. I know he's not a rookie. His second year, third year for Spencer Rattler. I'm trying to remember now. So he's not a rookie, but yeah, absolutely. We don't disguise anything on defense. We're not making any quarterbacks think. That's not in Shane Bowen's DNA. It's not. And again, so I don't expect major changes tomorrow. We'll see what happens. So I'll be happily surprised if he turned the page and the defense looked, good. just good, right? Trish, what's going on? Trisha K said, yo, what's up, Dad? What's going on, Trisha K? How we doing? Mav Prick says, Evan Neal done such a waste. Thought maybe guard was going on. Listen, he had a chance to be guard this year, right? And then when we needed him in the preseason, he got hurt. And those snaps went away, man. Either he's the most unlucky person in the world or he's just trash. And now he's on IR. We're never going to see him again. Never. Hirsch says, I don't blame Abdul. I blame Bowen. We can blame Bowen for a lot of things for sure. Ken James, we got a Packer fan in the building, said, what's up, man? You ready to take this higher L? He said, L hot. No, listen, man. We're 2-8, man. We are 2-8. I'm not even in a position to trash talk, brother. I wish I could, Ken. I wish I could. I wish I could talk trash to you. I look like a dummy talking trash to you. But guess what? If we do beat y'all tomorrow, I'll need you to come back after the game, and I will be ready to talk trash then. But I look like a damn dummy talking trash at 2-8 right now. I do think you guys have some weaknesses though. Again, your offensive line I think is weak. I think that's something that we can exploit. I want to see if you guys can get Josh Jacobs on track. I mean, I want to stop you guys from getting Josh Jacobs back on track, but I think that's going to be the game right there because I don't fear Jordan Love running the ball. Jordan Love does make some mistakes, so I think if we can take advantage of those opportunities, because Jordan Love is probably good for an interception or a fumble tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We'll absolutely see what happens. Side guy Brad says I'm disappointed with Holland, Nubin, and Daboll. I think we're getting Daboll back though. I think I saw that that he was trending on playing, so that'd be good to get him back for sure. But Holland, yeah, Holland. I'm a little disappointed in Holland. Again, these guys are coming back off of injuries too. But again, we're halfway through the season. They need to be firing on all cylinders right now. Raymond Lopez with the $4.99 super chat says, continuity for Dart is absolutely ridiculous. This kid needs to be coached to protect himself, and he needs to be challenged. I know Gruden will do. I know that's what Gruden. Okay. That's another name people are throwing out there. John Gruden, man. Obviously there's been some issues personally with John Gruden that he has to deal with. Obviously that's what got him fired, and for the Raiders. He's also been out for a while, so I don't know how this organization feels about John Gruden. But as a coach, John Gruden is a good coach. Do I think the game has passed him by a bit? Possibly. He was there for 4 years with the Raiders, and the Raiders didn't really turn things around when he was there. So, I don't know. Maybe the game has passed him by. But one thing I do know about John Gruden, he will hold people accountable. Because we saw him when he was talking to Jackson Dart. He told him his play style was horrible anyway. Talking about, he's going to get himself hurt, and we see it. And we got to figure it out. This ain't the time for the prediction yet, Ken. That's at the end of the show. But I do appreciate your prediction. He says 28-17 Packers. It is what it is. Boat Josh says, hell no, we got to go young. I think so, man. The next head coach, I would love for that person to be here for the long haul. I would love to have a coach with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart be the future franchise quarterback, and this next coach be the future franchise head coach for the New York Giants for 10 plus years. That's what I want. So and it's a little bit biased because that's when I think about Mike McCarthy and stuff like that. I'm like, how long is he going to be here? For the few people that want Bill Belichick. That's my first argument. Like, I think Bill Belichick is cooked, first of all. I think he is cooked as a coach. He needs to go right off into the sunset, enjoy the rest of his life as being one of the best head coaches to ever do it. But if he wants to try to throw his hat in the ring, which he shut that down yesterday. Last night he shut it down after his game. I don't like I want somebody to be here for the long run. I don't want to hire somebody and then have that person already have a succession plan for the next head coach. I don't want that. I'd rather hire somebody young if we're going to do something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just me, though. FaZe says, not Gruden, please. Luann says, Spags, Rex, maybe McCarthy. A lot of people, again, I want to go young, too. Pause. Joseph Wilcox says, who do you want for a head coach and why? That's a great question. That is a great question. Let me go ahead and put this up right here. So I got a couple of candidates in mind. I'm going to throw up a picture real quick of a video I've been working on, right? So let me go ahead and take that down, right? So these are some of the coaches that I do have in mind right now. In the middle, you got Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Then to the right of him, you got the defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley from Green Bay Packers. You got Josh McCown, who's the quarterback's coach for Minnesota Vikings right now. And this is my list of first-time candidates. This wouldn't be my full list because I do have some veteran head coaches as well. And then to the left, we got Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for the Chargers. And then my dark horse is the guy that he's assistant coach for the Rams. I don't believe he gets a head coach job this cycle. We're probably about 2 cycles away. But Sean McVay has been grooming Aubrey Pleasant. That's the guy that's left of, the left of Clint Kubiak in the middle. The Rams coach. He is an assistant head coach for the Rams, also the passing game coordinator for the Rams. Sean McVay thinks very, very highly of him. He stepped in the preseason for head coaching duties for Sean McVay, to the point where Sean McVay was even in the booth, wasn't even on the sideline, and let Aubrey Pleasant coach the entire game. That'd be the referee meetings and all that other stuff. So those are the list of first time guys that are head coaches, well, coordinators now, pass game coordinators, assistant head coaches that I have right now on my short list of coaches. So let me know how you guys feel about that one. All right, we'll get back to these comments. And shout out to everybody. I see all the people saying what's up in the chat. Shout out to you guys, man. How you guys doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a good start to your weekend. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then I'm gonna get back on track, man. I got to get back on track with my talking points. We're already 30 minutes in, and I only talked about 2 of my speaking notes already. New York State of Mind says I'm not for McCarthy or Gruden. A lot of people aren't. Sydney says people were talking about Saleh. Yeah, that is another name. And actually, he's on my list of coaching candidates with previous head coaching experience. But the funny thing about Robert Saleh is you wouldn't think he would actually want to do that. He just dealt with New York, dealing with the Jets. He's back in San Francisco, got that defense looking good again. But a lot of people are saying that he wants to try to be a head coach again. I'm not mad at Robert Saleh because I believe that we are a better ran organization. I think we need a lot of help and need to work out on a lot of things as an organization, but I do believe that we're head and shoulders above the Jets as far as how we do things. But I don't know, man, because the first time if the Giants start messing up and Robert Saleh's a coach, people are going to go right back to, well, this guy failed as a coach for the Jets. So I want a guy with a fresh that can possibly get a fresh start here. I think it's still too early for Saleh to come right back to a head coaching job, especially in New York. It is what it is. Joe says McCarthy is washed. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Fighters Destiny said McCarthy's Cowboys beat the hell out of us for 5 years. Were we hard to beat in those 5 years? No, we weren't. That's not saying much. Hold on. That was a text from my wife. She saw me. For those that know, a lot of you guys know. My wife is a Steelers fan, and she saw that Mike Tomlin talk about him not being the Steelers coach anymore. She let me have it in a text message. So we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that. I don't think Tomlin's leaving anyway. Let's see what we got going on here. JDJ says the defense has been so bad that everyone wants a defensive head coach. I'd rather have a coach who can simply be a leader and handle the entire team. You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the main thing. We've seen the beat writers say that too, that the New York Giants are looking for. They don't care if it's offensive minded or defensive minded. They are trying to find a leader of men. That's what they're looking for. And whoever fits that description has a good shot of being the next head coach for the New York Giants. Absolutely. When you break it down, JDJ, you're absolutely correct. But you know us, man. Us Giants fans, we got opinions. We're heavily opinionated. For me, I do want a defensive head coach. But to your point, if that coach is a leader of men, I don't care if they coach the offensive side or the defensive side. Get a good staff in here. Second year for Spencer Rattler. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. And I think I'm almost caught up. I was looking for the heavyweight champ. I was looking for the heavyweight champ, and here he is. He says, well, he used to say, woo, fire Daboll now. Woo, as you can see right now, he's saying, woo, fire Shane now. Woo, shout out to the heavyweight champion of the world. What's going on, bro? We almost there, right? The house is almost cleaned completely. We'll see what happens, though, man. We'll see what happens. Shout out to my man Greg T in the building. Says we need linebackers. We need linebackers and some. You're absolutely right, though. We need linebackers and some. It's important too because we got a lot of people that are coming up for contracts this year. That whole 2022 draft class is up for contracts outside of Kayvon Thibodeau. So, are you giving Flatt a deal? Are you giving Micah McFadden a new deal? Are you giving Daniel Bellinger? A new deal. You got Belton again, Wan'Dale Robinson. There's a lot of people in that draft. All right. that some people we're going to have to sign some people. You know what I mean? And if we would have drafted better, like we're going to look crazy this offseason. We're going to be spending some money this offseason trying to replace the people that are leaving. If you're drafting well, you already have those replacements in the building. You can't sign everybody back. When you look at the Giants this year, you almost want to sign everybody back because you don't even have their replacements in the building. We got to do a better job at drafting in the future. Cliff Kingsbury is possible. He's on the list that I have for, guys that had head coaching experience. No offensive gurus. No Kubiak. Y'all don't want the offense. McAdoo, young. That's what you calling Kubiak, a young McAdoo? Man, that's crazy. Man, Kubiak is doing a great job with Seattle right now. He got Sam Darnold playing well, so he's doing this thing. Let's see. JDJ says, "Nah, I don't want those jet sloppy seconds. That's crazy." Talking about Salah. Luann says McCarthy is not old, nor is he washed. It's debatable. It's debatable. Yardy7 said, "Hey, brother Dash, I only want to see Tomlinson from the Steelers." First of all, it's Tomlin. Nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. You trying to get me yelled at, brother. Let's not do that. TD Midas in the building says the right head coach, it won't matter if it's defensive or offensive because they'll have the right coordinators in place. I believe so. Shout out to my big brother in the building. Said, yo, Big Dash, let's go. I'm awake for right now. Shout out to you, man. I know it's late over there. It's bedtime. Now we hanging out, man. We are absolutely hanging out. Give me just a moment. My allergies is kicking my butt right now. Can't be on camera. Blowing my nose, that look crazy. Y'all be talking trash about me. McFadden probably re-signing. Guess what? The price gonna come down. The price gonna come down on McFadden for sure. If he would have played this season, I think the price would have went up. But with him not playing the whole season, he's probably going to be an easy sign. And I do want Micah McFadden back. I think with probably one of our best chase and tackle linebackers we have side to side, and he's not even the best at that, but the best that we have for sure. D Noel says, any college coaches? That's a good question. For me, no, I haven't looked into head coaches. Some people says what's it? Some people with the coach for Indiana, Signetti. That was one of the names that I heard that people might be interested in, but he just got the bag in Indiana, like the bag. And then also, man, why leave somewhere where you're so comfortable making money and doing good at a program? Why leave that to come take a risk with the New York Giants? Because whoever takes this job is going to be a risk. Let's be honest. It's absolutely going to be a risk. Big Moose says, Big Dash, what will the Wan'Dale contract look like? It's going to look like Darius Slayton money, maybe a little bit more. And then they have to make a decision on what they want to do with Slayton. Because I believe you can't even save money if you cut Slayton next year. His contract is so good, we can't even touch his contract for him. Good for him. So he has to produce. He's stuck with having to produce, but look, he's injured right now. So that looks like a loss right now. Lane Kiffin is another name that people are saying. Lane Kiffin already made the joke and said it's too cold in New York to be coaching. He said that, and also he wasn't that good. He wasn't that good when he was a coach here. Was he coach for the Raiders? He went back to college. Some guys, some coaches are just better in college. I saw Marcus Freeman. That's another one. Marcus Freeman's not going anywhere right now. Notre Dame loves him still. I don't think he's going anywhere. I saw some people tie his name to the Giants too. Well, what people need to realize is this: whoever doesn't, if there's a coaching option out there, they're going to tie him to the New York Giants. I think the New York Giants are going to have the most desirable job going into the next coaching cycle, this coaching cycle. Most desirable job. You have your future franchise quarterback. You have a whole bunch of pass rushers. You have a number one wide receiver. It's just some other things you need to build. The offensive line is steady. You do need to add some depth to the offensive line. But right now, the New York Giants will be a desirable place. Now, again, our history and us losing, that might be a deterrent to some people. But as far as our ownership goes, when it comes to hiring people and giving people chances, they still have a good name out there in the NFL. The Mavericks and the Tisches do. So I do think it's going to be desirable. Greg T says Kiffin was like 28 years old when he was. Yeah, that's fact. He was young, but again, we'll see what happens. Shout out to Joseph Wilcox with the $2 super chat. Says Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio checks a lot of boxes for me. Defensive minded, has a ton of experience. Will hold these players accountable. But I don't know if he can handle an entire team. If he has that type of personality, I don't know. Plus, Vic Fangio, he ended up being the head coach for a year. Was that the Broncos? Where was Vic Fangio? I think it was at the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. And it didn't work out for him. Like some people are just better coordinators. Some coaches are just better coordinators, and they don't make it. Look at Steve Spagnuolo, horrible head coach. Now the Rams were also a horrible organization at the time, but he was horrible as a head coach. Fantastic as a defensive coordinator. It just happens. It's just like that sometimes. It's just like that sometimes. Just think about some of the best head, like even Mike Tomlin was a coordinator for like a year before he got the job in Pittsburgh. Like sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes and somebody just hits, and you see, Noah does not have a losing season at all ever in his history as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was the Broncos, right? Yeah, it was the Broncos. Yeah, I think it was one and done. Greg T says Vic Fangio's head coach record was worse than Daboll. Man, listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. Give me just a moment. I'm going to send this invite out. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment. Let's see. All right. All right, Mark. I sent you that link if you still wanted to join and talk about some things. Sydney says, sell Robinson, sell Johnson, go get a top tight end signed. Slayton. You want another top tight end, huh? I think I like the tight end room. We have not seen Thomas Fedoni play yet, really. I want to see what he has. And that's one thing I wanted to get to. Because again, I got away from the notes. I dived into the comments section. Mike Kafka, right? Mike Kafka. How would this look different under Mike Kafka? Again, it's going to be the same offense, the same scheme, because you cannot change a scheme in a week. You can't change a scheme in the middle of a season. So a lot of these plays are going to be called. It's still going to be the Brian Daboll scheme. Just you can't make, but the play calling is going to be slightly different. And with Mike Kafka at the helm making a lot of these decisions, are you going to start seeing some other people being used now? Welcome back to Isaiah Hodgins, right? Welcome back to Isaiah Hodgins. We signed Isaiah Hodgins to the 53, a move that should have been made weeks ago, in my opinion. I was a big fan of Isaiah Hodgins when he was here. I thought we were going to be able to re-sign him. We put him on the back burner, and then we cut him after we got Malik Neighbors. So it is what it is with that. But Isaiah Hodgins, man. I'm actually happy that he's back. But I'm curious to see how they're going to use him. Again, Slayton is out, so you got Wan'Dale Robinson, you got Isaiah Hodgins, you got Jalen Hyatt. They elevated Dalen Cambry. Who am I forgetting? Bo Collins is on IR. Who am I forgetting as far as wide receivers go? Is that what we're doing? We got Wan'Dale Robinson, Hyatt, Dalen Cambry, and Isaiah Hodgins. Ray McLeod didn't even get called up this week. I didn't see him get called up. What are we doing? Isaac says we have to move on from these players. I'm sorry, where'd it go? Isaac says you heard that Daboll yelled at Kafka for Theo's drops. Yeah, listen, they like I said, Charlie and Maine had a nickname for Brian Daboll. He called him Daboll Unstable. That's what he called him. And he's proven time and time again that he is in fact unstable. And yelling at the offensive coordinator for the tight end dropping the ball, unless he was yelling to get Theo out of there and get Daniel Bellinger in there, is one thing. But he's just yelling because the guy drops the ball, then that's not on the offensive coordinator. It's not. If the ball hits you in the hands, you better catch it. They teach you that in Pop Warner. Fighters Destiny says Hodgins is cool. Glad he's back. I want to talk about that Hodgins move though, man, because it's funny to me. It's funny to me the whole Hodgins situation because of the little Jordan Humphrey situation. Again, I think the Giants are reactive instead of proactive. Everybody was asking for the past 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, I should say, where is little Jordan Humphrey? Why aren't we signing little Jordan Humphrey for the 53? Next thing you know, the Denver Broncos they pluck little Jordan Humphrey from the Giants practice squad, and they sign him to the Denver Broncos, and then we turn around and we sign Isaiah Hodgins. So if we had the money to sign Isaiah Hodgins, how come we didn't sign little Jordan Humphrey? If all of a sudden now we got the money to do it. Another decision that was made as soon as Kafka got named interim head coach, they put Graham Gano on the IR, and then they signed young Kwaku to the active 53. No, we don't have Juice Wells anymore. Juice Wells is gone, Isaac. And I saw what Danny said. Danny Boy said Hodgins is ass stop. That's not the point. That's really not the point. The depth chart is a depth chart. I'm not losing sleep over Hodgins. My whole point is you didn't have the money when it was little Jordan Humphrey, but when little Jordan Humphrey gets stolen from you, all of a sudden you got enough money to sign Isaiah Hodgins. That's my point. I'm looking at the GM like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I did like Isaiah Hodgins for sure, for what he was. A role player, possession type of wide receiver, reliable. He's not a game changer. He's not a Malik Neighbors, but he's definitely better than what we've been dealing with. For sure, 100%. Kalen Ward with the $2 super chat says top 3 prospects for the draft this season, just in any position. Caleb Downs. What's the defensive tackle? Caleb Downs, Peter Woods. Now it's looking like Arvell Reese is one of those guys too. You got the edge rusher from Clemson as well. Name is escaping me. And then you start looking at some of these wide receivers. But the top 3 prospects right now, Peter Woods, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, in my opinion, right now. And that obviously they move linebackers up the board. I'm sorry, not linebackers, quarterbacks. They move quarterbacks up the board. So we'll see like Fernando Mendoza. You'll see a Dante Moore too that'll probably go early. But as far as blue chip players, that's the 3 blue chip players I think we have right now in the draft. Joseph Wilcox, $5 super chat says, who called the play that got Dart hurt? Daboll or Kafka? Not too much going to change with Kafka. Now, I'll say this. Obviously, Mike Kafka is the one calling plays. But he's also got to call the plays to what the head coach is wanting. And then also, we'll know for sure, because once Jackson Dart is back, and if we still see Jackson Dart being ran that way, then we know that it wasn't just Daboll out there making these decisions. But a lot of people are going to, point at Brian Daboll for the usage because of what we saw in Buffalo with Josh Allen and how he ran the ball and was taking a lot of hits. But also, that's a bigger quarterback, 6'4", 240 pounds, a lot different than 6'2", 215, 220 pounds. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it could have been it could have been Daboll, it could have been Kafka. We'll find out though. We'll definitely find out in 2 weeks once Jackson Dart is back. So we'll get to the bottom of that, Joseph, for sure. Danny Boy says that's why the GM has to go now. That's a fact. He's too reactive, man. He's not a forward thinker. You don't like, especially when you look at these drafts and then he's drafting over players and then some of these players end up just being trash and unplayable. That's a problem. That's why we're going to be in the situation that we're in right now. You should already have a backup for Wan'Dale Robinson on the roster, but you don't. You should already have a backup. Well, you do have a backup tight end in Fedoni, but we have not even seen him play yet. But you need to have another safety because Belton also might walk. And then Cordell Flott, we don't have any cornerback depth. And we didn't have 3 other drafts since Cordell Flott. And he's the only one that's stuck as a cornerback. Andrew Phillips is a slot. I'm talking about a boundary cornerback. You got to draft better. I see you, Greg T. Dino says you need Hodgins type on your team. I think you do. I think you do. You need that type of wide receiver. You need a possession receiver. one thing about Hodgins, again, that he does not get credit for, he knows how to create separation. He's not fast. He's not overly quick. But one thing that I noticed when he played is he can handle, like at the top of his routes, he can get separation. He does have a longer frame, a bigger catch radius, and maybe we see that again with Jameis Winston starting tomorrow. Man, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect, but we'll see. We'll see. Gangster says Sean can't draft and trade. He's an ultimate bum. Now there's the Brian Burns trade was fantastic, especially for what we got him for. 2 for Brian Burns now. That was a fantastic trade. Outside of that, some of these other trades and signings, man, is not as good as people think. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. New York State of Mind, any cornerbacks, as far as any cornerbacks, what? In the draft? There's some cornerbacks in the draft, man. You got Gerard McCoy from Tennessee. Actually didn't play this year, coming back off an injury. I like Malik Muhammad for that plays for Texas. He might be available in the 3rd round. They got a kid from Illinois. Can't remember his name right now. He's pretty good as well. Probably a 3rd rounder. You got AJ Harris from Penn State. That's pretty good. It's a couple of corners. No real standouts like that outside of McCoy, who's probably the him and Colton Hood, 2 from Tennessee. It's a couple of them. He said Nick Harbor. I saw Nick Harbor. Nick Harbor finally made a play. Nick Harbor fell off the map. Then you saw him today get that 80-yard touchdown in that South Carolina game. That was a crazy game too. That was a crazy game. South Carolina was putting belt to ass to Texas A&M, and then I went out to hang Christmas tree lights. And then I came back because I left. I was like, man, I said this is an upset, man. It was like 30-3. I think it was like 30 or 26-3. My wife asked me to hang the Christmas lights, so I went out and hang the Christmas light. I came back, it was 31-30. I was like, man, I don't know what happened. I missed it, but something fantastic had to happen for Texas A&M. And I think they said that what's his name, Reed, the quarterback for Texas A&M, he went off in the 3rd quarter, just went off. So it is what it is. I wish I would have been able to see that game, but I didn't. Joe Schmo says, please keep Banks off the field. By default, he's going to be on the field. Sorry to let you know that. By default, he's going to be on the field. That's just something we got to deal with. Just something we got to deal with. And then as far as Nick Harbor goes, as far as the draft, he needs a lot of work, man. He's very, very raw. But if raw is 6'3", well, actually, 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds. They claim he runs a 4.2 40. If y'all don't see my finger, it's bruised. I bruised my finger hanging lights today. It is what it is. Husband duties, father duties. It happens like that. Sydney says, what about the running back room? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what they're going to do with that running back room. I would love to get a running back in the draft to add to Scadaboo and Tyrone Tracy. I'm curious to see what they do tomorrow. Got no news about Turbo Miller getting elevated. So now we got, Daboll didn't do it. Now Kafka's not doing it. As far as having a 3rd running back, we'll see if we can keep on testing fate when it comes to these running backs. I don't know. Rev says play Gunnar Olszewski. We might see that too. One thing I'll say about the signing of Isaiah Hodgins versus just elevating Ray McCloud again. Isaiah Hodgins, to me, possibly knows the plays more than Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud was lost. I believe that Hodgins hopefully still understands this offense, still knows this offense, the verbiage. He should know. He was here 2 years. He should know. Or still remember, I should say. Isaac also said, yeah, Gunnar should play more wide receiver. We'll see what happens. Again, like, obviously, the excitement, not having Jackson Dart takes some of the excitement away for sure. Because imagine if it was Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson was starting, I don't even know what to say if Russell Wilson was starting. Luckily, we still have Jameis Winston. So even with Jameis Winston, is he going to throw for 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions tomorrow? He could do both tomorrow. We don't know. So and then also again, we got a brand new guy. Well, not brand new, but we got an interim head coach still calling the plays. I don't know what to expect. I don't know how these Giants are going to look. The debut of Jameis Winston. The wide receiver rooms is what we have left. And some guys off of the street and off of practice squads. I don't know what it could get super ugly tomorrow. And but with all that said, I am excited to see these guys play tomorrow. I am. And also I'm excited to see how this defense plays because by reports, Mike Kafka had some conversations with Shane Bowen saying, hey, we got to clean some things up, especially in the fourth quarter, closing out games. I'm curious to see if Shane Bowen coaches a little bit differently now that we know officially that he's been talked to. And he acknowledged it too. So I'm curious to see. Sydney says, see, cornerbacks, we are cooked. Yeah, we ain't got no cornerbacks, man. How can you have 4 drafts, and we only got 2 cornerbacks on the roster right now that are worth a damn? 4 drafts, 4 off seasons, free agency periods, and you only have, well, I'm sorry, we got 3 because we did get a Daboll. Jury's still out to see how good he's going to be. But as far as the draft goes, you got Cordell Flott, you got Drew Phillips out of 31 draft picks. You know, you're out of the cornerbacks that are left because what was it? Not Trey Flowers. What's his name? Trey Hawkins, gone. And then what other cornerbacks did we draft outside of those guys? I don't know. Tay Banks. You know, it's bad. Kenya Diggett says, who's calling the play? Mike Kafka is going to stay calling the plays. The offensive coordinator is Tim Kelly, who he was our tight ends coach. He does have also offensive coordinator experience. He was OC for the Houston Texans, and then more recently he was the OC under Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. Tim Kelly. Yeah, but he won't be calling plays. He did say in the presser that normally he's a part of like the run game strategy going into the week. He said the only thing that's going to be different this week from prior weeks is he's going to be a part of the entire game plan, not just the running game. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if these guys can do something. I want to say this though. I want to bring some notice to this as far as the beat writers, man. Our quarterbacks coach, Shea Tierney, he's a Daboll guy. He was brought here from Buffalo with Daboll. I was kind of mad at the beat writers when they asked him how he felt about Tim Kelly getting the offensive coordinator position over him. Like, why are you asking those type of questions? How do you think he feels about it? How do you think he feels about it? Awful. But also, that's not the time for that. It's not the time that Kafka made. It's enough storylines already. I don't need beat writers creating storylines, especially when it comes to the QB coach. How do you feel about getting skipped over for offensive coordinator? Like, how do you think he feels? He kept it PC though. Kenya says Hodge got hands too. No, Hodge can catch. He can catch for sure. Danny Boy says there's a kid from Iowa. What position you talking about? Now, if you're talking about linemen, there's a couple linemen from Iowa for sure. That center's pretty good. You got Jennings Dunker, who's probably going to go in the first round. He's good as a right tackle. Which kid from Iowa are you talking about? Another wide receiver that's no longer a sleeper. He was a sleeper last week until he made that a fantastic catch for Indiana. Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper is going to be a steal. I had him as a 3rd or 4th round draft pick. He's probably going to move up the boards. Wide receiver out of Indiana. They also have Elijah Surratt, who's a wide receiver from Indiana. Pretty good duo that's out there. Shout out to Joseph Wilcox with another super chat. $5 super chat says, Dash, I know you do not like it, but count on it. McCarthy will be the man at 170. Yes, listen, 174 on 112 regular season, 11-11 post. If he isn't, I will super chat $25. First of all, you ain't got to super chat a thing. We ain't got to place that bet. I don't like it. I understand it. I will understand why they would want to do it. They want to stabilize things. But when you get Mike McCarthy in here, I feel like there's a ceiling for Mike McCarthy. And that, call it bias. It is. That's just how I feel. I feel like you already put a ceiling on yourself when you hire McCarthy. Oh, I expect to win 10 games, but if we go to the playoffs and lose, that's Mike McCarthy. I shouldn't be thinking like that. I understand. I should not be thinking like that. It's just how I feel, man. It's just how I feel about Mike McCarthy. I could be dead wrong. And again, I would love to win 10 games consistently. I would. I really would. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. What's going on? How we doing tonight? He says we need a running back one. Now, you talking about for tomorrow? Or you talking about for the future? Because I believe Cam Scatterbull is a running back one. He took that job away from Tyrone Tracy way faster than I thought he was. Way faster than I thought he was. And then he also showed everybody outside of getting hurt. There was the only person that stopped Cam Scatterbull was Cam Scatterbull with the injury. And we can actually blame that on a hip toss tackle. What's it called? Hip toss? No, not a hip toss. Hip drop, right? Hip drop. That's what's called. Hip drop tackle. That broke his ankle. That's the only way these guys stop Cam Scatterbull is by breaking his ankle. Dirty plays. That's it. I think you have your running back one with Cam Scatterbull, but I still want a somebody that is in between what Scatterbull does and also what Tyrone Tracy was. I want somebody that's explosive. Like Cam Scatterbull is explosive. But if we can find that person that could take it to the house at any given time, I thought Tyrone Tracy could be that type of home run hitter, but to me, it seems like it takes him a while to get going. And he doesn't look like he's running that fast, even though he's getting by people. I don't know what it is with Tyrone Tracy. He seems like he's a glider, stepper, almost like an Eric Dickerson type. For the people old enough to remember Eric Dickerson, I barely remember Eric Dickerson, but I've seen highlights. But one of those like graceful type of runners. But I want somebody that's a burner, take it to the house type. Would love to get another Saquon type, but that's probably not going to happen. There ain't too many Saquons out there. And the Saquon that we have, we let walk. It is what it is. It is what it is. A Dad's Life. What's going on, Dad's Life? He said, yo, I'm missing 1.5 fingers from building my shed. I feel you. Seriously? I feel for you. There's certain things I won't do. Like, I'm not the handiest of handies. Pause. Of handymen. I'll hang some lights, but I'm not getting on the roof. I tell you that, I'll hire somebody to get on the roof. You talking about building a shed? I feel for you. You're missing 1.5 fingers. That's crazy. Well, respect to you. Respect to you. Absolutely. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says before the injury, Scat was, he was not the answer for not running back. No, yeah, okay. I mean, if you feel that way, you feel that. I think he would. Can you say this though? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. By default, he was a running back one though. Are you looking for? But again, we're talking about a committee. That's what it is right now. Are you looking for like a bell cow running back one? Or are you looking for the first guy to take the snaps in a running back by committee? Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking about, so I know exactly where you're coming from. Mike Fonte, what's going on? Sydney Angel says, I agree. Tracy hasn't had that type of breakout game. Like last year, we need a running back one and no more running back by committee. So you don't want the running back by committee. I actually think the running back committee is the way to go. Obviously, you're going to have a guy that gets the majority of the snaps. But how many true bell cows out? Like you got Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's fantastic, but just think about what he's doing. You got Saquon Barkley, but outside of that, Josh Jacobs. Maybe. Outside of that, you need to me. You need it by committee. I think you need it by committee. Luann says, I said the same Gunner was good in the slot in preseason. He was. He got some snaps. Dash Life says, serious question though. When Bowen screws us again, does Kafka have the power to fire that bum? I do not believe that he has the power to fire anybody right now. I do not believe it because I think if he had absolute power, he would probably have fired. He probably would have fired Shane Bowen already. I really do believe that. Shout out to Sydney Angel with the $10 super chat. Says, Dash, I don't think Scat is our guy with his style of play. I remember when Shockey played that way, teams knocked him into next week, and it's not sustainable for the long haul. Now, you're absolutely right. That's why I say by committee. Because if you had another running back, it wouldn't look as bad as it does right now. With Scatterbull being gone, and just think about it. When we had Barkley, and when Barkley got injured, what did the running game look like too? Like you gotta have talented running backs, and in all honesty, like If the offensive line was better, you might see better production from these running backs too. But I don't know. I don't know. And the way he plays, yes, it's not good for his life beyond football. I'll say that. I'll give you that. We'll see what happens though. Shout out to my man Jay Ferris in the building, 9.99 super chat. He says, show some love and respect for the greatest Giants fans there is. Big Dash, much respect to you. We put Russ Wilson stuff behind us. You's a legend. Support this man. He pours heart and soul. I appreciate that, man, Jay Ferris. I appreciate that, man. What do you expect to see from Jameis Winston tomorrow, though, Jay Ferris? Let me know. I want to know what you think about it. But thank you for the love and support as always. One of the day one guys, Jay Ferris. Fantastic Giant supporter. Not just for me. Jay Ferris is out there everywhere showing support to Giants content creators. So fantastic guy right there. Danny Boy says corner and linebacker. Yes, we do. I don't even know what you mean by it, but I'm just saying yes. Corner linebacker, sign me up. Both of them. Both. Maybe multiple. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets says, where's Fedoni on a milk box right now? He's on the milk carton. I know he's out there. I've seen him out there. But we're not using him. Hopefully we use him tomorrow. I'm hoping for it. Coach D says Ray fumbled a ball on the one. I'm not worried about Ray McLeod at all. Again, he didn't even get called up. At least I didn't see it. I didn't see his name mentioned with people that got called up for this game. They were being cheap. Let's be honest. The New York Giants were absolutely being cheap. They didn't want to spend the money to sign Little Jordan Humphrey. And again, that's just Little Jordan Humphrey, but we didn't want to spend the money. He ends up getting stolen. We gotta be reactive instead of proactive. We go get Isaiah Hodgins. And when we first got Isaiah Hodgins, I was thinking we put him on the practice squad just because I know how cheap Joe Shane is. But then I saw that he was actually signed to the 53. I was like, oh, so now we got the money. We didn't have the money for Humphrey, but we got the money. Just saying. We got the money for Hodgins, though. Right? Okay. Ford Expedition says tomorrow we'll answer some of our questions. That's a fact. What kind of questions you got, though? We'll answer questions, but what questions you got in mind? Let me know. Let me turn my music up a little bit. I can't even hear it in the background. All right. Turbo Miller is that guy. TDE says that. We can't even get him on the field, man. I would love to see Turbo. Would love to see him. We're not going to see him, though. Greg T says Scat was on pace for 1,500 yards from scrimmage and over 15 touchdowns. I'll take that from a running back one. Yeah, he was on pace. He was definitely on pace, man. And listen, again, he would not look. He didn't. It wasn't a concussion that took him out. It wasn't a hamstring. It was a broken ankle that took him out. And then I saw him on his stream, his gamer stream, and you can see his ankle. He's already flexing his ankle and everything now. So that man is a beast, and he will be back. He'll be ready to go. He got a couple of screws loose, more than a couple. I mean, we'll see what happens though. Five Medic 80. What's going on, Chris? He says, give me Bradshaw, Jacobs, Ward type of running back room again, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Volume 2. I will take that too. I will absolutely take that too. Will absolutely take that. Rev says, before the injury, Cam was the best rookie running back in the NFL. You definitely going to get some pushback. Understand, listen, people made the comments talking about that he's not a running back one. It is what it is. Some people are going to feel the way that they feel. And I understand why Sydney said what she said. Again, his running style is not going to last long. But if we're doing this running back by committee, then you take away some of those hits that he's going to take throughout the future, throughout the longevity of his career. Excuse me. Again, my allergies kicking my butt right now. The Big Moose says, why aren't they bringing up Turbo? That's the $1 million question, man. Somebody told me last week, man, obviously the New York Giants feel like they need the help in other positions. But I know for a fact if one of these running backs go down and we only got one running back for the rest of the game, it's going to blow up right in these guys' faces. And then also, some people also said that Turbo just isn't good enough to bring up to Ella. So why is he even on the practice squad then? if he's not good enough to be brought up in these situations. And where the hell is the other running back that's supposed to be on the practice squad? Do we even, I don't even know if we got another running back on the practice squad. Like, what's going on? Bad roster management. Sydney says, Dash, is Daboll still watching the tape? I can assure you he is not watching the tape anymore. Is he still? He's not watching the tape anymore. He's really not. He's not. Coach D says Eric Dickerson was fast but still ran strong. Scatterboo is shifty and physical. Well, I was talking about Tyrone Tracy when I was talking about the actually how they look running the ball. Like Eric Dickerson ran straight up. Like it's straight up. And they always tell running backs to get low. That's how Eric Dickerson ran. And Tyrone Tracy's kind of the same. Once he gets to that second level, his shoulders are up and he's running. That's why I say that. That's the comparison I'm making. Not the Scatterboo at all. No, Scatterboo is more Ahmad Bradshaw than anything else I've seen. You know what I mean? Hassan Mendoza says, I don't think we'll get Gruden or Mike Tomlin. You must be late. You gotta be late in the chat or started the video late. No, like go ahead and just stop thinking about Mike Tomlin. Stop thinking about Mike Tomlin. That's a pipe dream. John Gruden, it depends on what how this organization feels about him. They really gotta look at his past and what happened and feel like, okay, are we gonna add this baggage to what's going on already? And with that being said, I don't think he's on their list. It has nothing to do with his coaching ability. It's all outside stuff. Shout out to Ken James, still in here vibing with us. Got the cheese emojis. Listen, we'll see what happens tomorrow, man. Ken, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm not the most confident person in this game tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Last time I was nervous about a game, it was against the Chargers, and we ended up winning. We'll see what happens. And I think the Chargers are way better than the Packers right now. And that's crazy, too, because y'all defense is fire. Let's be honest. All three levels, your defense is stacked. But you're having issues on offense right now. It might be a low-scoring game. We'll see what happens. Maybe Young Wei Cool, kicks a game-winning field goal for us for the Giants. Let's turn this thing around. Q Burrow brother, sorry, he says at least Winston can look for receivers over the line, unlike Lil Russell, from the Fat Albert show. That's funny. That joke is going to fly over a lot of people's heads, but it is what it is. Some people don't even know what Fat Albert is. I do. I remember. No, that's absolutely right. Jameis Winston, 6'5", has no issues being able to see over the line. Jameis Winston doesn't have any issues at all getting the ball out. The problem is sometimes he doesn't see the defender. That's his problem. That's his problem. So we'll see what happens with Jameis Winston. Dad's Life says Scat going to be ready for the. Listen, that's funny. That's funny. If it was up to him, he probably would try to come back for the playoffs if the New York Giants were in contention. I wouldn't put that past him at all. Scatterboo is a running fullback. I give him more credit than that. He's better than that. I understand that's a joke, but he's better than that, Coach. I think he is. He's definitely better than that. Pretty good vision. He got more wiggle than I thought he did. He'll just run people over. That's just the way he's built. His mindset. Excuse me. Shout out to the 154 people still in the building. If you have not hit that like button, please make sure you go ahead and do that. If this is your first time here and you're a New York Giants fan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And welcome to the Big Blue Nation, for sure. Kalen Warder says, if Shane Gabe, Plaxico, is that, well, hold on. Who is that? Plaxico? Any contracts, he should be under investigation. Who is, I'm going to need you to write that name again, Kalen, because I don't know who you're talking about right now. Respectfully. TDE says, imagine Hyatt balls out tomorrow. Talk about a slap in the face to Brian Daboll. Listen, there would be nothing I would want more than Hyatt actually balling out. If Hyatt could actually ball out there, you know how much pressure that saves in the draft? But come on, what's the chances of that happening? I'm with it, though. Like I had to put down to hide his open hat. I had to put it down, stash it away. But it's just a short grab away from being able to get it. Pause. Luann says the best running back I believe we had was Tiki Barber, amazing player. Listen to him on the radio, and he's disgusted. He is disgusted, rightfully so. We gotta like I said, people were mad at Tiki Barber too, man, for saying what he said, but he's absolutely right, man. He's absolutely right. And then I saw, who was it? Somebody was arguing with Tiki's take on Daboll not being a winner. I think it was Lawrence Tynes. Lawrence Tynes was arguing, and this was before last week's game. He was arguing with Tiki Barber about his comments on Brian Daboll, and then we went and lost that game again. And I didn't hear, it was crickets from Lawrence Tynes after that. And shout out to Lawrence Tynes, 2-time Super Bowl winner. But it was crickets from him after that loss. And then after Daboll got fired, I still don't know where Lawrence Tynes is right now. He might be in here listening. Hopefully, I didn't see you after that. Mosley 2.0 say smash that like button. That's a fact. Smash the like button, please. It does more than you know. It helps out the algorithm. It helps out the channel. Just by hitting the like button. Click out of the chat, hit the like button. It does wonders. I'm telling you. Appreciate you. Coach G says Scatterable got to be on the field. Got to be on the field. Ace back, H back, all that. That's a fact. All right. Manny Banks says Dash just got back from the store. What I missed? You missed a lot, man. We've been going for about an hour and a half, man. Hour and a half. So actually, man, you the one that said you would be right back. You went shopping for real. You went shopping for real. All right. Shout out to the Prince Castro. Mark, I see you. I'm gonna bring you on in a second. Prince Castro says, I hope Daboll is the reason Hyatt wasn't playing. Listen, man, again, just imagine if Hyatt goes out there tomorrow and balls out. Like, I don't believe that's going to happen. Just imagine if it did happen. That'd be something. That'd be an indictment on the regime for sure. If all of a sudden Jameis Winston goes out there and Hyatt is hooping. Like, what? What are we talking about? Danny Boy says, run Hyatt in motion and see a young buck cook. You might see it. Play him in the slot. Get him off the press and see what happens. That's what he did in college. Played in the slot. Mike Fandy said, hey, Big Dash, what if the New York Football Giants win every game? Win what, the 7 games that are left? If we win the 7 games that are left, they're going to hire Mike Kafka. That's what's going to happen. Also, if we win, what's that? That puts us as what, 9-8? You might get a wild card if that happens. And you will see Jackson Dart in the playoffs as a rookie if we were to go 9-8. In all honesty, does that happen? I don't know. Luann says, I pray Bellinger is playing tomorrow. He should be. Oh, you talking about Platts? I don't even know where he is now. Now, that was the international player, running back that was with us for a couple of years. Yep. Jameis is easy to fool. He is. But he's going to throw the ball. He's going to get the playmakers a chance to make the play. That's for sure. All right, so I do want to bring on my man, Mark Thompson. What's going on, Mark? How we doing?
I'm good, Dash. How's everything with you?
I'm doing all right, man. It's Saturday. We got a game tomorrow. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Don't know what to expect. So, I'm going to ask you a couple questions since I got you on here, man. But how you doing, first of all? How you doing? How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm very good. All things considered, I try not to be get too tied into this football thing.
I can't,
because every year it's 2-8 every year. Oh my god.
Nah, yeah, it's disappointing for sure, especially when you going into the season, you felt like there were some things that were bright spots, and then they didn't come to fruition. So I'm right here. I'm asking you these questions. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sure. No, I was gonna say, having gone to the game against Philly on the 9th of October, and walking away from that game with that win, I was really hyped for the rest of the season, and not a win after that.
You at least you were there for that one. At least
I was there for that one. I was there for that.
That's a fantastic game to be there for. So
oh yeah.
So I definitely had some questions, that I've been answering as well. I do want to ask you about the coaching question.
Sure.
And then I have some other talking points. So obviously Brian Daboll's gone. I know how you feel about that. But when it comes to Mike Kafka and expectations for what the Giants are going to look like, tomorrow and moving forward, what? Well, first, do you have any expectations? And if you do, what are those expectations?
Well, not really. I'm kind of like taking it as it goes. What I mean, I shouldn't say I have no expectations, but believe it
Mm-hmm.
or not, and I've felt this way for a long time. I think uh, Kafka will has all the I guess attributes of someone who should make a pretty good head coach. So when I say that, I mean someone who I think will be um, calm, consistent, uh, don't get too emotional about
Okay.
things, make better in-game decisions, that sort of way. At least the players would know exactly what to expect, as opposed to being an up and down kind players and the rest of the staff, as opposed to being up and down and so forth. I think so when people hear me say that, they'll think, "Oh, what do you mean?" Okay, no doubt, Daboll is an excellent offensive mind.
Yeah.
Probably even most likely a better, well, not most likely, definitely a better play caller than Kafka. Has a better feel for things during the game as a play caller. But if you're talking head coaching type material,
Yeah.
I think Kafka has that. So whether that will translate into wins now is a different story. And that I think will come down to like how he holds people accountable
Yeah.
and let them know, hey, look, so we got to see what that's like. So that I'm eager to see what will happen there. But the problem is it's got a lot to do though. When you take over as an interim head coach, oh my God, that's a tough situation.
Now
And
a lot.
most likely the reason why he probably didn't fire Bowen one time, because that's too much to do. It's too much to do at one go. You take
Yeah, there's
over,
a lot of
all of a
things to take
sudden
care of.
you got to yeah, you can't do everything all at once. But I
Yeah.
suspect that Bowen is on a very, very short leash. I suspect.
Now that makes a lot of sense of why not why hold on to Shane Bone for at least another week before you make, because there is a lot to take over. It's a lot of the changing of meetings, because that's something that he tweaked too. The practice schedule, he tweaked the practice schedule as well. The players seem to like that, how he switched special teams portion of practice and stuff like that, and how he did the meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, very very important. How Mike calm, being calm. I think that is very very important, because even though I saw somebody say too, players don't like yelled at, you can get away with those type of things if you're winning. So if you're screaming
Your
at people
your
and you're losing,
your audio is something a little funny with your audio there. No, can't hear you. Can't hear you at all, actually.
you know,
Oh, I just heard that. Yeah.
you can hear me now. Okay, perfect, good.
Yes,
Somehow,
gotcha.
somehow I hit the mute button, didn't even know it.
Oh,
Hit the mute. So what I was saying is that one thing with Mike Kafka, right? So I don't know what part I cut off at, right? But when it comes to Mike Kafka and temperament, being calm and things he needs to take care of, um, do you feel like? And I think with all the stuff he has to take care of, like I said, that's an important part. A lot of things he needs to take care of. But I do believe that he has that calmness to him that's needed for a head coach. And then what I was also saying before the audio messed up is when you're winning, like you can get like Coach Daboll, that style of coaching where you're emotional when you're screaming and stuff like that. If you're winning, you can get away with that. But as soon as you're losing and stuff like that, people start looking at you like you're crazy, emotional, unstable, and stuff like that. So, thank you for letting me know that the audio cut out, because I was damn sure
yeah.
talking, hearing myself. But I appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know what to expect, man. If things look good, I can expect that. If things look horrible still, I could also wouldn't be a surprise to me.
I mean, look, people talk about um, being fiery. Okay, that's fine. I mean, but okay, Coughlin
Yeah.
was fiery on the sideline, but he didn't necessarily let that um, creep in and affect his decision making. So you can be fiery, but you can't let the emotion take you over so that so that and then rules your decision making. Because when you make decisions with emotion, they're usually bad decisions.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
I do want to check too. Give me a thumbs up because I know Mark, you said you can hear me, but give me a
Hmm.
thumbs up in the chat if the audio was better now. If it's still bad, please let me know, and I might have to reset my mic and stuff like that. So let me know in the chat, thumbs up if the audio is better now or if I'm still breaking up. So Sydney says
Hmm.
he didn't cross the line. You're right about Daboll. Said I think. Oh, sorry, he didn't cross the line. You're right, Daboll. I think crossed that line of being disrespectful. Okay, so that's his coaching type. Now he did some things even with Daniel Jones was here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Let me know that the mic is better now. Thank you for my big brother. Let me know that I sound better. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, but like I said, Daboll's gone now. Obviously, that's what I want to ask you. What would need to happen? What would you need to see from Mike Kafka in order for him to actually possibly be the next head coach for the New York Giants?
Hmm.
I think his chances are slim, but I want to know what you think.
I think it's a tough situation for him, but I do think that if the players respond to him and they manage to win, I don't know, half the games. And I mean, I know it's 7 games, so you can't win three and a half. But you know what I mean. If they manage to win a good, I mean, if they play well and show
Yeah,
good uh, focus and they win like 4 games, I think he's in with a chance. I don't see why not. Because I mean, my thing would be that he's been here the whole time with Dart.
hmm
That's got to come for something. So you may not want to break that up, you know, but it really does come down to whether or not he shows out to be a leader of men. That part we just don't know, right?
okay.
We don't know whether he will um, be able to lead people in that way, and that's what it takes with head coaching. Like you can be buddy buddy with people, you can have good relationships with people, but you still have to be able to do that, be able to tell them like what's wrong, what's
Yeah,
right, and be respectful about it, and get the most out of the persons that you're leading. That's what you have to be able to do. So you have to be able to have good relationships, but yet be able to. It's just like it's like raising a child. You know,
yeah,
you got to be able to say and discipline and do what you have to do, but yeah, at the end of the day, they will still respect you and you respect them.
yeah. And I think this week when he was at the podium talking, I think he said a lot of the right things. Um, but he also implemented some things, and also some of the moves that the New York Giants made this week. I'm kind of thinking maybe that's exactly what Kafka wanted to do. Like we finally saw Graham Gano get put on IR instead of just holding him and waiting to see how good he is. We signed young Kwaku. We went ahead and signed a wide receiver that's familiar with the system. And then also we had some call ups this week as far as Dalen Cambry was a wide receiver that we forgot about since the summertime that got called up too. And for some reason, every time the New York Giants call somebody up, they actually use them in that game plan. So I'm curious to see what happens tomorrow with Mike Kafka. And I see it in the chat too. My man of Dad's Life says 4-3. What does it say? 4-3 Kafka stays, not endorsing, but that's my feelings. I think this, man. One thing from the outside looking in is not thinking as a Giants fan. There's a reason why Mike Kafka has been getting head coaching interviews in place. Now he has not been hired, but he's still one of those names that have been called back. I think with the Saints, he had 2 meetings with the Saints, so they clearly liked him. Um, so we can't be so quick to toss him if we have some success in these 7 weeks. Again, that's a long audition as far as the interview process. 7 weeks, 7 games, well, 8 weeks and 7 games. Um, he can, if he takes advantage of this
including the bye,
opportunity. Yeah,
including the bye.
including the buy. So he has a real chance not to just change the mind of the people in the building, but also to change the minds of the fans. Now I know, because for me, I'm sitting here like, yeah, I just want to change this whole thing. Like, I want a brand new regime. I want to start from scratch. But I do need to take a step back and just think about the players that we have right now. And if there is some success in these next 7 games with Mike Kafka, you have to take a serious look at that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I definitely think that. I wouldn't discard him, but I do think it's tough, very tough for him to do that. But you never know what might happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Let me get to my notes. So I did talk about some coaching as far as candidates go. I don't know how you feel about first time head coaches versus head coaches with some experience. Which way are you leaning a certain way, or do you lean a certain way as far as that goes?
No, I think they have to cast as wide a net as possible. I don't think you can preconceive that, hey, I need someone with experience, or I don't need one with experience. I think you have to cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Look at every possibility, because you never know what can happen. So I wouldn't go, well, I have to have someone with experience, or I wouldn't go, well, I want somebody new with brilliant. You just have to find the right leader, the right person, the right leader. That's it in a nutshell. I've heard people talk about certain coaches that they might want to try, and I don't understand some of the choices that I hear. Like, I don't understand, like,
I want to know some of these names.
The Kevin Stefanski. I don't understand that at all. I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, what has he done? I don't get what he's done. He's not done anything at all. In fact, the Browns, I don't get it. That wouldn't make sense. I don't even think Matt LaFleur makes any sense. Like, tell me what has he done? He's had a good team. What's he done? Hasn't really done anything in the playoffs at all. So I don't really see him as somebody who I would want to go to. Okay, I'm not going to say I'm going to throw him away, but what I'm saying is I don't see him as such a really great candidate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't see. I mean,
but do you have somebody that you like though in mind?
No, I heard, not really. I mean, I've heard, the DC from Green Bay. What's his name?
Hafley. Yeah.
Hafley, yes. Yeah,
we'll see him tomorrow. Yeah. I said we'll see him tomorrow.
Sorry?
We'll see him tomorrow.
Yes, we'll see him tomorrow. I've heard him being talked about. I've heard Minter being talked about. Mm-hmm. I've heard Freeman being talked about. So those are the younger guys, that I've heard talked about. I really don't have any kind of feeling about them one way. I don't really know enough. Okay, you've got people like Mike McCarthy, who people talk about. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's got a really great record. So I mean, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know if I would want to go there. But he's got a really great record. What else? So I don't really have a top candidate per se. I got their names out there that are intriguing, but they have to go through the process. And going through that process, what does that mean? Because I'm hearing all sorts of things like, okay, the statement said Shane is going to lead the process.
Yeah.
Then I'm hearing, well, he's not so safe. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, so he's going to lead the process, go through it. He's going to short list of names, and then the owners are going to take over from there. Is that what's going to happen? What he say during the process that, well, I'm just shortlisting you, but I don't know if I'm going to be here. I don't even understand that. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me.
And that's the crazy part too, because again, he's going to get evaluated at the end of the season. He's going to be evaluated. His job is going to be evaluated, and they're going to make a decision. But from now moving forward, one of his job outside of scouting, he's already in the thick of it, scouting. But also, you figure you have in college football, you have that break where there's no football before the playoffs, and that's the end of
Yeah.
December. During that time, he has to be narrowing down the searches for coaches, but at the same time, he
Yeah.
might not be here. You know what I mean? And I think if the New York Giants do win some games, the more games we win, the safer Joe Shane is going to be because Daboll is gone, but you're still winning games. That means the roster that you put together is able to win games. I think that bodes well for Shane. But
I
I don't know.
yeah.
Again, I don't know.
I
And then
don't know either because I hear that, but at the same time, what more does he have to do? He's already done all the work that he has to do. The only
yeah,
thing that he can be doing is dealing with, okay, trying to pick up somebody off a practice squad or something of
yeah,
that nature. There's nothing more to be done. So you should know, you should have a feeling about. I mean, I keep hearing that they don't think it's a 2-8, that this roster is better than a 2-8. So if you really think this roster is better than 2-8, then you have that view right now. So what makes you think it's going to be? And if it's clear that this roster is better than 2-8 because they're games we should have lost. I mean, sorry, should have won. We
yeah.
should never have lost. So that it's better. It's definitely better than a 2-8. We should never have lost. We could easily be 5-5. There's no doubt about that, right?
Absolutely.
We've lost games spectacularly. I mean, like unbelievably.
We made history. We have historical losses this season. Boat Josh
Yeah,
says, I don't know exactly what he's replying to, but I kind of got to understand. He says, nah, look at what happened to AP in Vegas. Now, AP was an interim after, was that Gruden that got fired? And then, no, it wasn't Gruden that got fired in AP. AP took, I forget who AP took over for. But that was a situation where AP took over. He was an interim head coach, and he was a
yeah,
guy that he felt was like a leader of men, but he wasn't a good head coach. But he was definitely a
yeah,
good leader of men. And then you saw what happened after he got his contract. He was gone a year after that. And a lot of people would
yeah,
want AP as a possible candidate for the Giants. I like
yeah,
AP as far as what he can bring to the Giants organization, but I don't see him as head coaching material right now. He was a coordinator in college when he was with the Raiders. I believe he was just a positional coach with the Raiders. But
he was. Yeah, he
you,
was linebacker coach. Yeah,
yeah, and then when you figure when they went to that head coaching cycle, you had guys like Max Crosby that was pushing hard for Antonio Pierce to get the job. And that could have played a role in it because the way that organization ran is funny to me. The Davis family, how they run things, they move off of emotions and stuff like that. So that AP hired, like it kind of surprised me that they actually gave him a chance. But we saw what happened right after that. Um, and here we got my man Crawford experience says Mike McCarthy again.
hmm
I feel a certain way about Mike McCarthy. I don't know how you feel about him. I think he can stabilize the New York Giants, but I don't know if he can get you over the hump. That's that. But obviously, the players are the ones that get you over the hump. Can Mike McCarthy? I don't know. I got reservations when it comes to Mike McCarthy, man. What do you think about Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, that's. I mean, yes, I don't know either. I mean, I mean, he was there in Green Bay for a long time, and
Yeah,
great record, but just not a lot of wins in the playoffs. And same thing, he went to Dallas, 12-4, 12-4, or whatever, and but didn't go any further. And but I mean, but you can look at certain things in the roster. You can probably say, okay, certain things maybe held him
yeah,
back. So Mike McCarthy is an interesting one. It's not someone I would completely throw away, but I'd be kind of iffy about it.
yeah. Like I said, I got it's a bias. I admit that it's a bias that I have with that decision. I do want to. I want to look at this comment here by Crawford Experience. He says Mike McCarthy has the best chance of developing Jackson Dart. There's
Mm,
I don't doubt that, but the reason why I hate to not say that I don't like it. When we say things like when we look at this coaching decision and we're basing the majority of that decision on just Jackson Dart, I got problems with that because again I think Jackson Dart, I think he's good enough that he can probably play in any system. I'm more worried about the team as a whole. Like Jackson Dart to me seems like he's already a guy that can he's a chameleon. He can fit whatever system. I need a coach that can take the New York Giants team as a whole and make them better. So I have no doubt that Mike McCarthy, as far as his relationship with Jackson Dart, I have no issues with him being able to develop Jackson Dart. I think he can do that. But what can he do for the defense? What can he like? What coordinators is he going to bring in here? What kind of relationships does he have? Can he be the leader of the entire team and not just the leader of the quarterback room? I guess is my question. Luann said 6-4, 7-3. Now, what do you mean by 6-4, 7-3? Oh, that's what I think that's what she says. If we had better coaching, or if the situation was different with these games, we could be 6-4, 7-3.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I know you said 5-5, but she's saying
I just wanted to be a little conservative. Clearly, we could be 6-4. Yes, for sure. I mean,
listen, you figure, well, what's that? 4 games. So you figure Dallas is one of those games. Denver, of course, is one of those games.
Yeah.
The Saints,
Chicago.
5 straight turnovers. Chicago, the Chicago, 6 and
Chicago.
6. Yeah, Chicago. Yep, last week we saw it.
Yeah.
Another fourth quarter collapse. But when you just look at those games, those are 4 wins right there. And then the situation is entirely different. Now, I'm also the type that believes that in this case, it'll be the football gods don't make mistakes. Something had to happen in order for change to happen. And if you're 6-4, you're probably running Daboll back out there with the same issues, with the same coaching style and stuff like that. So you got to burn it down in order to build it up. So maybe everything happens for a reason. We'll see what happens. But Luann is a big Brian Daboll supporter anyway.
Yeah. I know that. I've seen enough to know that that's exactly how Luann feels about Daboll. Understood. Yeah. Understood.
So, Joseph Wilcox says Kafka seems like a nice guy, but I want to coach. McCarthy was a quarterback coach and an OC before he was a head coach. I would like the Ravens coach, but he is signed to talk about Harbaugh. Harbaugh was, to me, I think he might have been like the sleeper guy that might have been on the hot seat just because how bad the Ravens look without Lamar Jackson. And when your team crumbles the way that the Ravens crumbled when Lamar Jackson wasn't on the field, then it was one. But then you see, as soon as Lamar Jackson comes back, the Ravens look like they can play again, like they're contenders again.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But they dug themselves a pretty deep hole to crawl out of, especially in that division. Eric James says, I like Tomlin, Harbaugh, and that young DC from Green Bay. A lot of people are trying to connect Ed Halfley to the New York Giants. Now, I don't know if you know Mark Halfley's background, Boston College head coach, New Jersey native. We know the Giants have a connection with Boston College. Obviously, Tom Coughlin coached at Boston College, but also, I believe, all of the daughters, the married daughters, they went to Boston College, met their husbands at Boston College. So they look for everything. They look for everything to try to connect somebody that they like. For me, Halfley is on my list. He is actually second on my list of first time guys, coordinators become head coaches.
Who's first?
I really like Aubrey Pleasant from the Rams. I really do. Or his name is Aubrey Pleasant. He's the assistant head coach for the Rams, passing game coordinator also for the Rams. He was at
right.
Yeah, he was at Detroit for a while, and then he got picked up by Sean McVay, and he's just excelling under Sean McVay right now. And
I haven't heard anybody talk about him.
Yeah, so he's under the radar. I think we might be a cycle too early before he's a real contender. I'm curious to see, because a lot of people are not talking about the offensive coordinator with the Rams, Shula. He's a guy that could possibly get some nods or some interviews for head coaching job too. And I wonder if he goes somewhere if Aubrey Pleasant takes that step into being the offensive coordinator. But I think we're still a cycle or two away from actually seeing Aubrey Pleasant be brought up. But I wouldn't be surprised if he got a couple of interviews this year, this cycle too. But if you get a chance to look into him, do that. Smart guy. He's defensive minded. He was a DB's coach before he went to the Rams, and then they got him as an assistant head coach. But he's dibbing and dabbling into all areas of the team. And like I said, McVay trusts him, and McVay. That he is quickly become one of those head coaches that has a fantastic tree underneath him for a guy to be that young with a coaching like that.
Kubiak.
I like Kubiak, and then Kubiak's from that whole Shanahan tree too. And obviously his father's also his father's Gary Kubiak. So he's on my list too. He has Seattle looking fantastic. He has Darnold has not missed a step. leaving Minnesota, and then how he looks now with Seattle. Again, he's not the world beater, but he's still very good as a starting quarterback. I'm seeing this name from PW Cho. He says Josh McDaniels. I wouldn't touch Josh McDaniels at all. At all. I don't like we've tried Belichick disciples already. In some ways, Brian Daboll was a Belichick disciple with Saban mixed in and stuff like that. But then we also tried Judge, who was also a Belichick disciple. I'm over the Belichick disciples. I heard people say Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator. I think who was it? Carl Banks. I think Carl Banks threw that name in
said that too. Yeah.
talking about Matt
Yeah.
Patricia as a DC or possibly a head coach. I'm not sold on that either. I'm sorry, Carl. But how do you, Josh McDaniels? I know how I feel about Josh. What's your thoughts on Josh McDaniels? We're going to entertain it for a little bit.
I think that's a waste of time. But it's funny how you mentioned about Carl Banks and how he blatantly just talked about Patricia, and I just find it interesting because when I listen to these guys that have like an inside ear, when they start talking in a certain way, changing the way how they talk about performance of the team, something is coming. So I mean, 2 weeks, 2 weeks out, you kind of knew something was happening with I would say distinctly right after the 49ers game is when I kind of discerned something different happening. And I was expecting something to happen. I thought maybe it was going to be Boyne or something like that. I wasn't sure, but I felt that Daboll was under pressure. And then I heard the rumor true, or I kind of believe it because my view about that rumor about maybe he was going to be fired after the Broncos game, I could believe it because I look at it this way. When I look at what Daboll's behavior was in the game against Philly with the blue tent fiasco.
Yeah.
If I am the owner, right, and you behave that way, and I am the chairman of the competition committee doing that, I am totally embarrassed by what you did. You put yourself in the hot seat with that behavior. I would want to fire you like right after that game, except that you won it, right? So then so then you come with your so I could think that he put himself there with that kind of behavior, and I don't think he was fired because, let's say, like people say, simply that Dart got hurt or injured again. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's blatantly like that game in Chicago. When you watch it, I couldn't tell that Dart was on the field for that length of time, knocked out on the ground. But if you were there, you must have seen that. You had to have seen that. I can't imagine that you could not have seen that. And then he plays. So I think it's that kind of stuff more than anything else. But I didn't want to go back to Daboll, but that just
I know we talked briefly right after that game too, and and like I said, on the field when you saw that play happen, you didn't see him laying there. You saw him when he got back to his knees. But what I was saying is that when they showed that replay and when that ball got knocked out, you saw him grab it, and like I said, I thought he got a knee down. I thought he was down by contact. But once that ball got loose and I saw that he wasn't reaching for it or even looked to try to reach for it, I knew something was wrong. And then when they showed that other angle, I'm like, yeah, he's clearly knocked out. Like he is unconscious. He was only, I say sleep. That's what I like to say. He was sleep. He was sleep on the field. He might have only been asleep for about 2 seconds, but he was absolutely unconscious at that point in time. I'm going to go to Crawford Experience. He has something to say about Antonio Pierce. He says, what was Antonio Pierce's position before he became the coach of the Raiders? I believe he was a linebackers coach. He said, would he be a good linebacker coach or DC? I wouldn't mind him as a linebacker coach for the Giants. I wouldn't mind him at all. He does not have that defensive coordinator experience at all. So I'm not sure what to expect. Well, he was a defensive coordinator at Arizona State, but as far as the NFL goes, no DC experience there. Would you also look at Gerard Mayo as a DC? I would absolutely look at Gerard Mayo, even though he's also a Bill Belichick disciple. Like he's a Bill Belichick disciple. I like Gerard Mayo. But he is also, like I said, a Belichick disciple. Ford Expedition says Eric Bieniemy. I want no parts of Eric Bieniemy. If we talk about coaches that yell at players, I don't know if a lot of people know that Eric Bieniemy is absolutely a yeller at players. Short with players, borderline disrespectful with some of the things he says to players. That's one thing that's out there, is documented. You can research that. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox. He says with super chat, says McCarthy head coach, Hafley DC. How about that? LOL. Hafley is not leaving Green Bay to be a DC anywhere else. If Hafley leaves Green Bay, he is going to be a head coach. I know you said to laugh out loud because you want shout out to Joe. Joe wants McCarthy. He wants McCarthy. Yeah, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing there. Like I said, listen, he'll get an interview. He will absolutely be on that list of guys that get an interview for sure. Look, we got Luann agreeing with us on something. She says, hell no to not Josh McDaniels. Listen, and then she says Josh is an OC. So I don't want him in the building at all, Luann. I do not like Josh McDaniels. I don't. I like Mike McDaniel as a possible OC because he's a horrible head coach too with the Dolphins. But
but I mean, who knows? Who knows? He could. The Dolphins can go on a run there. You never know.
It's possible. They just beat the Bills. They just beat the Bills, and it was funny. Did you see the clip they had? He drove past the Bills bar in Miami. It was talking trash.
No, I didn't see that. No, I did not see that.
They got a picture of it. He drove past a famous Buffalo Bills bar in Miami, and they got the pictures. And then they asked him about it on Monday, and he said that AI is great or something like that. He was trying to say that it wasn't him. It's hilarious. He did drive by. They got the pictures of him driving in front of that bar. It's funny. It's funny, but he's a troll, man.
That is funny. Yeah,
and
he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yes, he is, and that's why it's so believable to me. Prince says Marvin Lewis. I don't even know where Marvin Lewis. I know he was coaching college ball. I think he was at H.
I don't even know where. What he's doing.
I think he was at HBCU, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I don't know what he's doing.
Coach Leon Sandcastle, really. That's the Deion Sanders troll. That's the Deion Sanders character. And then H-Town says DC OC needs to be from the Seattle Rams coaching trees, maybe Packers sidelines to bring in a real coach. Listen, that's a real thing. That Shanahan McVay tree, they got a lot of jobs. You figure Kevin O'Connell's from that tree. You got McDonald, I believe, is from that tree. It's a bunch of them. Obviously Shanahan, obviously McVay. It's a couple guys from that McVay. I can't remember where LaFleur is from. I think LaFleur is from the Shanahan tree too, because I think he's from that.
He's from that too. They were all on the team together there in I think Washington, in Washington. Yeah, Washington. Yeah.
That coaching staff under Jay Gruden. What that coaching staff turned out to be, like holy smokes. JDJ.
What about what Sirianni is from what? Is he Andy?
That's a good question.
Is he from?
That's a good question. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to look that up really quickly too. I'm gonna look up where Sirianni's from, because he's definitely from a tree. I thought it might have been possibly Green Bay with the McCarthy. Hold on, I'm about to find out right now where.
I'm trying to remember where he's from.
Let me see right now. So he is from. Okay, so you have him in the early 2009 to 2012. He was with the Chiefs. Then 13 through 15, he was with the Chargers and Colts. So he's okay. He's been around Kansas City. So that was Kansas City right before got there. Right before Andy got there. Before he made that switch, because Andy got there in 2012. 2011, 2012.
Probably around there, yeah.
Because it was Andy had Michael Vick
or a little after that, maybe.
Okay, and then the Chargers.
Mahomes came in what
17.
2017.
Yeah, he was
So
17. Mahomes was 17,
yeah,
so he was gone by then. I'm just trying to think how long was Andy, when did Andy leave? Like I think it was 2012, 2013 when he left, because they
somewhere
ended up
around there.
they went from Andy Reid to Kelly, right?
Yes, Chip
Yeah,
Kelly. Yeah,
yeah, and then from Kelly to Peterson. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, hey, and then they won that Super Bowl with Peterson in 2018, right? 2018. I think that's when they won it. 2018,
2017.
27. Okay,
2017, I think it was.
yeah,
I
there you
think it's
go.
2017. Yeah, 2017, I think it was. So I mean, it's yeah, no, I think yeah. So I wasn't sure if he was. I know he was at the Chiefs. I wasn't sure if he was at the Chiefs at the same time as Andy Reid. That's what I wasn't sure about.
BG says, "What do y'all think about Tony John? He's just old. He's old. Games passed him by. That's it."
He's
Uh,
not. He's not coming back.
yeah, yeah. I think he enjoys his working one day a week at for Sunday Night Football. I think he's
Yeah,
good with that.
yeah.
Crawford,
All the same. Good.
yeah, that's what. Then you figure was no, that was Herm Edwards that was at Arizona State. Um, Crawford says Mike LaFleur name is floating under the radar. It is, but again, he would be a fired head coach. You know, he failed at Green Bay, and then are we looking to just pick him up? You know, after
Well,
that.
no, no. He's not Mike. Mike. No, he's not Mike LaFleur.
Oh, not Matt. Okay,
Not Mike
Michael
LaFleur. Yeah, not Matt.
Michael LaFleur is the OC Chargers. Where's he? I can't remember where he's at.
Sure. He was. Wasn't he at the? He was at the Jets last year, wasn't he?
Was he?
When
Okay.
when Robert Saleh was there, I think he was at the Jets. So I'm not
Okay.
sure where he is right now. I'm not sure where he is,
Yeah, I got.
but
I got.
I think he was at the Jets. Yeah,
Yeah, I got the brothers. I know he's an OC somewhere though right now.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Is he at OC right now? Is he? Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know he was. Okay.
Yeah, I'm. See now, I already got the Google up, so I might as
You know
well.
you gotta check. You know you gotta check
Might
it
as
out.
well
Yeah.
look it up. Yeah, just to be sure. That way we can keep these
Well,
facts.
while you're doing that, one of the things that I'm interested to see is how Jameis Winston functions with the O line. What I mean by that is the O line looks really good. I
Yeah,
think some of that obviously has to do with Dart's ability to maneuver the pocket and
yeah,
get out of situations and so forth
yeah.
and so on. And I'm not saying the O line isn't playing better; they are playing better. But Dart's ability to do what he does helps. With someone just not quite as movable as that, what will that look like on Sunday? With Winston doesn't have that movability, that nobody has that. So I'd be interested to see how that works. So that's going to be interesting to see.
I think that's the point of the night right there. That is the point of the night. You're absolutely right. Especially with that defensive front that Green Bay has against his offensive line. I agree with you 100% that Jackson Dart's ability to extend and maneuver in the pocket helps him a lot. And then, like you said, Jameis Winston does not have that. Now, I do believe that Jameis Winston can get through his reads pretty quickly, and I think the name of the game is timing for tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. So,
Get it all quick. I mean,
I,
everybody talks about Winston and his ability to throw the ball down, but actually he throws the ball more in the mid range more than he throws it down the field.
yeah. Well, he definitely has the arm to go deep. Like he's not
Oh
afraid
yes,
to do it.
sure he has
But
that part. But
yeah,
but that's not what it's about. If you get my drift, yeah, you know what I mean.
Right.
He definitely has, but I think he's more about those mid-range shots. He can
Yeah,
throw. He can make a throw.
he can absolutely. And again, like this week, I really didn't do a deep dive into keys to victory because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what this offense was going to look like. You just saying that makes me think about some things just right now. So I'm gonna do it on a. I'm gonna just talk about it very quickly, just off the top of my head, just thinking about it. Like you said, operating down the middle of the field. I can see us again, still the same, using the tight ends. I do believe with Jameis Winston's ability, being able to stand in the pocket, being tall, being able to see over the line, he can see those throwing lanes. I think it has to be the quick game. I don't think we're going to see any RPO at all because that's not his game. So the RPO I think is out of the window. they might try it a little bit, but it won't be an RPO for the quarterback to keep it. It'll be RPO because he sees a slant or something like that might open up if he's able to get the linebackers to crash, on the run. Maybe some wide receiver screens can happen. I don't think we do play action either unless we're actually successful running the ball. I think we're going to see a lot of shotgun with Jameis Winston and getting the ball out. I think it's going to look the most West Coast that we've seen. And that's just, like I said, I haven't thought about it. I'm just thinking about it right now. Off the top of my head, thinking about how the game plan might go. And I'm glad you said that too, because again, I wasn't thinking about it on the.
I think you're going to have. I mean, we've been doing it a lot of heavy 12 personnel. Look at the wide receivers that are going to be playing. You don't have any Slayton. The only only deep threat you've got is Hyatt. Depending on what snaps he gets, and that'll also be interesting. But other than that, you've got Oshetsky, you've got Wandell, and so forth. So I mean, actually, it probably is a lot of quick game. Probably what you're saying is correct, but maybe you get a lot of tight end screens, and that's mostly what we tend to. Even though in the screen game we have more tight end screens than we have running back screens.
Yeah, no, we absolutely do. Phil with the $5 super chat says, Dash, the truth is we can't have McCarthy as coach. He will be out of here in 2 years. We need someone that will just coach. Let the OC DC do their thing. We know that Mike McCarthy called plays for Dallas, for a portion of the time that he was there. And again, that's a great point to have too. If you do hire McCarthy, is he going to be here for the long haul? I don't want, like, for the people that want to, like, Belichick and some people even said names like Rex Ryan. I don't want to get somebody in here where you're already thinking about a succession plan. I want to get a guy that's here that can be here for the next 10 to 15 years or whatever, or if Jackson Dart is really, in fact, the future franchise quarterback, somebody that can be here, with Jackson Dart as well. So that's my bias though. That is my bias. Was it at?
I see Crawford Experience says that Mike LaFleur is in his third year as OC of the Rams.
Yeah, he's at the Rams. Yeah, I did have that there.
You got me. You got me there. I don't know why I thought that he was at the Jets.
He was with the Jets. He was with the Jets in 21.
Okay.
He's been with the Rams.
He was.
23. Okay. So he was the offensive coordinator with the Jets because he was there with Robert Saleh. No, when did Robert Saleh get there? Who was there before Robert Saleh?
I think Robert Saleh was new there. Wasn't Robert Saleh?
Did Robert Saleh get there the year before Daboll? Was Robert Saleh there the year before Daboll, or was that the same year?
It could be.
It could have been.
It has to be at least. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. Certainly the same year though. No.
Yeah, but he was with the Jets, and then he went to Los Angeles. He's been with the Rams since 2023 as the offensive coordinator. So yeah, no, you weren't wrong.
He got fired. So he got fired on the Saleh.
Yeah.
And then all right, okay. Yeah.
Yep. So and then he was in San Fran as a passing game coordinator too. So he's from that Shanahan tree too.
Yes,
he was with Shanahan the same time when Shanahan was in Atlanta as the OC. He was there with him there. So yeah, that's Shanahan tree. Kalen says most coaches require their little overhaul, spew, and splurge. Oh, you mean once they take over? Yeah, you figure they hire a whole new coaching staff for the most part. And then if it's a GM, you're hiring a whole new, scouting department and stuff like that too. In some cases, I know they kept a few of the scouts that were here when Joe Shane got here. They kept a few of them, but he also got some of his own guys in there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is definitely going to, no matter what, 2026 is going to look different. Like it is. It's going to look different.
I hope Brasillo goes no place though.
That's the one guy that I want to keep. Whatever happens, and I always say there's always one survivor. We see it all the time. There's always one survivor. I wouldn't mind that survivor being Carmen Brasillo for sure.
If you fired Bowen, if Bowen is on a short leash and he got fired like next Monday or the following Monday,
yeah,
who are you putting in his place?
Some I've seen. Well, for me, it'd possibly be Marquand Manuel because he's been a DC before. I've seen people say Andre Patterson because I believe Andre Patterson has been an interim or DC as well. But for me, I
Yeah.
think Marquand Manuel is the way that I would go. Um, and I mean, I was surprised. Just to talk about it briefly, I was surprised that Tim Kelly. At first, I was surprised that Tim Kelly got the OC job, or the elevation to the OC over Shea Tierney, because we saw those rumors that Shea Tierney was actually had the opportunity to call plays when Daboll was still coaching. But then I see that he picked Tim Kelly, but I understand because Tim Kelly has actually been an OC in the NFL before. But yeah, Marquand Manuel will be my option. What about you as far as DC? If
I
Bones,
would go Dre Patterson because the strength of our defense is front,
yeah,
and I would lean into that. I'm not too enamored by how the DBs have been performing, but that might just be the player. That might just be the players, you know. But
yeah,
so, and I know Mark Manuel's had that experience being a DC, but under Quinn, I think it is. But I would lean into the strength of our defense, which is up front, and
mhm.
give Patterson the opportunity to be the DC. That's what
Yeah.
I would do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against that at all. Trust me, I
Yeah.
understand that. I thought when they fired, well, when Wink left, they interviewed Patterson, they interviewed Jerome Henderson for the DC job
Yeah.
before they gave Bowen the job. So I was for it then. I can see that happening too. And you do make a good point because he did take over as a DB's coach, and that's an area where we're struggling right now. So yeah, it makes sense to me. I'm not against that at all. Isaac
Yeah.
Moore
Yeah.
says we just need guys to get open and catch the damn ball as far as the game plan goes for tomorrow. Need guys to get open and catch the ball for sure. And then the Dad's Life says let Brian Burns DC for the rest of the year. I don't care. I tell you what, Brian Burns would not drop himself in coverage. That's for sure. That is for sure. I was so frustrated last week seeing Brian Burns dropping coverage multiple times, man. Multiple times.
Only last week.
Well. Last week it was just. Well, last week he was actually getting cooked while he was doing because the tight end cooked him a couple times, man. And then I can't even be mad at him because that's not his strength. Why is he out? You got the sack leader, the NFL sack leader, dropping back in coverage multiple times. And again, to your point, they're playing him like he's a will linebacker in some cases. Now they do drop him down, they send him on the pass rush, but they got him covering the flat, they got him covering the hook the curl. He's just not that type of linebacker. He's not the linebacker at all. He's an edge rusher. So I just thought it was dumb. Just like a lot of things that Bowen does, I think is dumb. But I did think that it
Bowen,
was cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Bowen. Okay, so Bowen and his stint as DC at the Titans had a game that was much more predicated on the use of three safeties.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so what he's doing here, to me, is totally it's like a fish out of water. Our
Yeah,
team is not set up that way at all. It's not set up that way at all.
yeah,
So whatever he's doing is completely different from what he was doing, how he would want to do it at the
yeah,
Titans. And then I'm going, well, how much did variable, you know, um, how much was variable leaning into that?
yeah,
And right now it looks like he was leaning in a lot.
yeah. But also, who was a defensive assistant that was there also during that time? A portion of that time was Jim Schwartz too. Jim Schwartz was in the building at the same time.
That's correct. I remember that.
So
I remember that.
yeah, so we don't know how much that Shane Bowen was actually responsible for, but he also got the job. The other thing is this, man. It's funny when I look at Shane Bowen, I think he just turned 40, and he looks
He's young. He's a
stretched
young
out.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks
Yeah.
he looks like he's greater than me, and
Yeah. He looks like
I'm older than him. So I don't
He
know,
looks my age. He looks my age, but he's your age.
right? Yeah, and you think I got a year or two on him. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. H Town says has to be a real leader of men's situational awareness, situational play calling awareness on both sides of the ball, holding players accountable and having a culture and identity in the building day one. We saw comments with Mike Kafka this week talking about accountability and what that means. And again, I
Yep.
think he said a lot of the right things today. I mean, not today, this week. But again, it means nothing if they go out on the field tomorrow and they lay an egg. And when I say lay an
Yeah.
egg, it's not just losing. It's already a tough enough game, but we got to look prepared. That's one thing. And it's a
Yeah.
tough week with all these changes. If we went out there and looked horrible, it wouldn't be a surprise to anybody because it was just a massive change that happened. But if we can go out
Yeah.
there and actually look good and look prepared and clean some things up and be competitive, I mean, it goes a long way to really saying, well, Brian Daboll might have just been the issue or the problem. So, um, again, I don't know what to expect. I'm getting to that time now where we're going to do some predictions for the game
Mm-hmm.
before we get out of here. So I'm gonna start with you, Mark. And then everybody, go ahead and put your comments. I'm sorry, not your
Oh
comments.
boy,
Go ahead
that's
and
a
put your
that's a
predictions
tough prediction.
in the
That's a
chat. Yeah, right. The
that's a
toughest,
tough
toughest
prediction.
decision. Um, yeah, but go ahead. While Mark is talking, go ahead and put your prediction in the chat.
Yeah,
Be
I'll take a
honest too.
stab at it.
Be honest.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I don't expect to win tomorrow. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I'm also not necessarily expecting a high scoring game like we've been scoring 30 points and all that per game, and I don't expect that. So I'm thinking that the game is probably more like a 21-17 situation, like maybe,
Okay.
and Green Bay winning. I think that's it. Of course I would love to be proven wrong, but I think that's likely what it's like to be. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give two predictions. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna give a prediction where the Giants win, and I'm gonna give a prediction where the Giants lose. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, right? Shout out to Sydney. Sydney says 42-10 Giants. Winston throws for 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And as long as
That's
those
possible.
interceptions,
You never
that
know.
is very possible. That is very possible. The weapons might not allow it, but very possible. I do believe that the game might be low scoring because of the defenses. Um,
Yes.
like again, that Green Bay defense is tough at all three levels. They got multiple pass rushers. People have been talking down about Micah Parsons, and for some reason, the New York Giants are almost a get right game for everybody. Also, Green Bay is coming off a 2 game losing streak. I believe they're also coming off of 2 straight home losses, and they had one of the best home win records. So they have something to prove. Some people are calling it a get right game, for the Packers. Now, and like I said, that at that point, that makes me think that the Packers absolutely can win this game. Now, for the New York Giants to win this game is very, very simple. It's simple, but it's simple to say, but it's not simple in regards to execution. Um, yeah, that offensive line of the Green Bay Packers have been having some issues. Um, Obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau was not playing. This is the first time we're going to see, I guess this amount of snaps from Abdul Carter coming off of the edge, right? So with that being said, if this can be one of those games where we finally see a breakout game from Abdul Carter, Brian Burns continue to be Brian Burns, and you don't drop him back in coverage, Dexter Lawrence being Dexter Lawrence, we can get a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. I'm not afraid of Jordan Love moving too much out of the pocket. He can do it, but it's almost like he doesn't like to do it, and he can make mistakes. So I think this defense can get a turnover, and if it's a low scoring game, like when I say low scoring game, if this ends up being like a 13-10 game or something like that, I think the New York Giants have a chance to pull it off if it's a low scoring game. I don't believe it'll be a shootout, which a lot of people saying. Again, I believe that Jameis Winston can do some special things. I don't think it happens tomorrow. But if the New York Giants win, I can see the New York Giants winning like 13-10. If the New York Giants lose, I think the score is like, to your point, 21-17 or something like that. I don't expect like a 30-point game to happen with this deep, especially with everything that's happening. Let me get some more of these some of these predictions. Crawford says Giants 24, Packers 16, upset special. Dad's Life says I'm actually thinking we get the dub. Every team overachieves when the head coach gets fired, and Jameis is the man. Giants 27-24. Direct says maybe Packers 31, Giants 23. Ian Campbell 31-21 Packers. Isaac, shout out to Isaac again, 24-20 Giants. Is it Dane the Beautiful Monster? That's a hell of a name. Says Dash, we should make a Godfather offer to Saban. Let him bring in a dream team of his colleagues. Packer beat us tomorrow, 30-13. First of all, you can't drop a Saban bomb at the end of the show. At the end of the show, we ain't even got enough time to digest that and talk about it. Maybe depending on what happens tomorrow, maybe I can throw that out there. I think Saban goes back to LSU. I think that happens. I think that's a better chance of that happening versus him coming to the Giants. Luann says Giants. Well, you got any before we go? You got any thoughts on that, Saban?
Yeah, no, I think you're onto something there.
Well, you figure LSU just fired. Was it Chip Kelly? Not Chip Kelly. Brian Kelly, right? Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're probably the ones that's going to throw a bag at Nick Saban to LSU.
Yeah. Why not?
If Alabama had a second down year like last year, you probably would look at even Alabama going back to Alabama. But LSU to me might be on the board for Nick Saban if he's bored enough. He might be good and retired and happy. He made a lot of money, like a lot of money.
Yeah, and he doesn't like the new system with
the rules.
Rules. He doesn't like any of that. Yeah.
The NIL deal and then players being able to leave. Yeah, he was a little bit of a dictator. He was well, not even a little bit of a dictator. He was a lot of a dictator. Joe Edwards says 34-14 Packers. Sydney says Jordan Love has PTSD from the last time he was at MetLife losing to Tommy DeVito. Yeah, if Tommy DeVito can beat the Packers, I think Jameis Winston can absolutely beat the Packers. That's for sure. Luann says Tommy Cutlass beat Green Bay. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he did. You know who had a good game? Hyatt had a good game against Green Bay. H-Town says Packers got a bunch of O-line back this week. Did they get healthy?
And not totally. I think the center is a backup center.
Yeah. And then
that brings me to the point. Like, why we've had a few games where we played some backup centers and guards, and we haven't taken full advantage of that. And I'm like, why haven't we taken advantage of that?
Yeah, Carl Banks made that comment too earlier this week. This is the third straight week where we're paying backup O-line. Yeah, Carl Banks is not letting it go. He is not letting it go. But she said Packers got a bunch of O-line back this week. Sorry, H-Town said this. They run it well this game, make big plays down the field, and Giants lose 17-28. Josh Jacobs has not had that game yet this year. Josh Jacobs. It would be something regular for the New York Giants for him to actually have one of those games. You saw it with Saquon Barkley. Kalen says tight ends over passing yards and receptions. I can see the tight ends having a big role in this game for sure. For sure. Game. You said, 12 personnel, 13 personnel has been working for us. Expect to see that. Ford Expedition says 41-24. Giants, I'm assuming, because he says Hyatt gets 2 touchdowns. Not 1 touch, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's funny. Isaac Moore says, did you see the flea flicker? Yeah, we talked about that, Isaac. I was pissed off about the flea flicker tight end screen last week. Was awful. And I believe we were on like the 20-yard line. That's a waste of a play. Absolute waste of a play. H-Town says Saban only good when Alabama got all the all-stars. NIL killed that he won't return to coaching. Again, that's yeah, absolutely. I can see that. And that's a good point too, because he does not like that NIL deal. He was very, he talked about it, he voiced his opinion about it, and he lost.
Yeah.
And then Luann says we aren't losing at home. Love will be intercepted, and Zach Burns is pissed off. I hope so, man. I hope so. So, Mark, we're gonna go ahead and close this show down. Let me get your closing thoughts. Anything you got to say. And I do see that you have some New York's memorabilia behind you, New York's decor behind you. Are we getting closer to a Mark Thompson channel happening soon? What we doing? Is the cat out of the bag? What's going on? I see it behind you, though. You got to say too much. If it's under wraps, it's under wraps. I'll leave it. I won't put too much.
You just have to be able to be consistent with that. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking at if I can clear away consistent time, I'll do it. I'm getting closer.
Okay, like I said, I saw the decor behind. I'm wondering. I'm seeing hey, you got to start somewhere. You got to build the core somewhere for sure.
Well, I
Um,
just figure if I come on the show, I gotta present. I gotta present.
hey, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm just saying the people love you, man. The people love you. BG says Deontay Bank pick six, Carter fumble, recovery for a touch. Listen. Let me tell you something. If Deontay Banks get a pick six, and then we talking about Carter getting a fumble recovery for a touch, listen, you might as well go ahead and sign an extension to Mike Kafka tomorrow if all this stuff is happening. 2 touchdowns for Hyatt. Deontay Banks with a pick six. Carter with a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Let that be a sack fumble recovery for a touchdown. And then you might see Mike Kafka get an extension the day after. Not really. But I would love to see something like that happen. You know what might
Yeah.
happen if that happens? If that happens, you might see LaFleur get fired from the Packers. That's
Huh.
because he's on the hot seat a little bit right now too, because
Yes, he is on the hot seat.
they
Yeah.
are
If
underperforming.
if they come in and they beat and the Giants beat them,
Yeah, that'd be
he's yeah, for sure. That wouldn't go down well. The two things I'm looking for, one I mentioned earlier, which was the performance of the O line with Jameis back there.
yeah,
That's one. And the second thing is I have to see something different from the defense. I mean I have to see something different from defense. Are we going to be this in between team, or are we going to be aggressive?
yeah.
Are we going to be aggressive? And that's really the thing. Like, that's what we got to lean into. So if we get beat deep or whatever, well, hey, but we got to be aggressive. We got to get to the quarterback. We got to be disruptive up front. That's what we got to do. And whatever we got to do that, to me, is that I don't even think we've got to do like like send 6 and 7 and all. I don't even think we got to do any of those kinds of things. I just
Yeah.
think we need to just mix it up a little bit. We don't just have to rush 4 all the time. We can rush 5. We can do, we can play around with it. But we got to be aggressive. So that's the part that I want to see from the defense, and what they're doing to stop the run. That's it. If we do that,
Yeah.
we will win the game. If we do that, we will win the game.
I love it. I love it. Another elevation that I didn't talk about, Elijah Chapman's first game. He got elevated from the
Yes.
practice squad. He will be playing tomorrow. Now, my
Yes.
question is this: are we going to be seeing him at more fullback? Is that a part of the game plan? Or is it because we're light on the defensive side as far as defensive tackle goes, and maybe they like what he can do against the run possibly? I'm curious to see what that happens. But again, when we call people up from the practice squad, they tend to have a role set for them. But I appreciate you for hanging out with me, Mark, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the love and support. And you have a good night, man. Hopefully tomorrow's a victory Sunday for us, man. But you have a good night, man. I appreciate you.
If we have victory, you'll hear from me.
All right. Now I'll be here tomorrow again, live post game reaction. Right after the game, man. So, but again, thank you for hanging out with me. You have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, man.
Take care, Dash.
Have a good night. All right. So we're going to close things out. Isaac Moore says, hell yeah, be aggressive. Dad's Life says, good night to all. Yeah, we're going to wrap this thing up. We actually hit the 2.5 hour mark. Fantastic show. Reunion, hanging out with family. It went by quick to me. And again, when things feel like they go by fast, I mean, you're having a good time. Hopefully everybody feels the same way too. Shout out to the over 100 people that been in this, hanging out with me, vibing with me this whole time. Again, make sure you hit that like button. Even when the stream is over, if you hit that like button, it helps this channel out. The channel is growing. We're on the road for 10,000 subscribers. I'm just under 300 away. I might hit that number before the season's over. It is what it is, and who knows, might do a giveaway once I hit 10,000. I got a lot of merch that I might want to pass out to people. But again, thank you for the love and support, everybody. Thank you for everybody for vibing with me. Tomorrow, the New York Giants face the Green Bay Packers at MetLife. Debut from Mike Kafka. Debut as a Giant for Jameis Winston. I don't know what to expect, but I do expect to have my popcorn ready because I do believe it's going to be a show with whatever happens tomorrow. But with that being said, I thank you, Big Mo. Great show, Dash. Now, Isaac Moore says I subscribed twice. But with that being said, again, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow after the game. Hopefully it's a victory Sunday. If it is, we're going to have a fantastic time here for the live post show. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation. Let's